You get that free.
Lisa Smalling and Bruce Lehman on Eyewitness News Midday.
Next from CBS Sports, the Daytona 500, sponsored by STP.
This CBS Sports exclusive, the Daytona 500, is sponsored by STP, makers of STP engine treatment, oil treatment, gas treatment, fuel injector cleaner, and son-of-a-gun protectant.
On behalf of First Brands Corporation, the makers of STP automotive products, I'd like to welcome you to the Daytona 500 by STP. STP is proud to be entering its third year as title sponsor for this great event. We wish our new driver, Rick Wilson, and all the teams a safe and enjoyable race today.
The Daytona 500 is looking for a few good men. Men like Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator in the black car, who's never won the big race here in 14 tries. The Daytona 500 is looking for a few good sons, like third-generation speedster Kyle Petty, the pole sitter. The king is gone, but he's not forgotten. Another racing son is in the front row today, Dale Jarrett, fleet son of former champion Ned, enlisted by car owner and three-time Super Bowl winning coach Joe Gibbs. A few good men in a few fine machines, looking to see who's fastest. Over 100,000 good men and women, boys and girls, have jammed and crammed their way into the Daytona International Speedway. Wherever you look, from the grandstand to the tops of cars in the infield, everyone is getting set for the Super Bowl of stock car racing, the Daytona 500. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Economaki on pins and needles as we close in on the start of the great American race, the Daytona 500. All the preparation, all the strategizing, all the tweaking and tuning of engines is done. It's time to race, and all eyes are on Dale Earnhardt, undefeated in 3 preliminary races this week. Can he do it again today? Mixed with the excitement is a sense of nostalgia. Last year, this sport bade farewell to its king, Richard Petty. But guess who's on the pole? Yep, his son, Kyle Petty. And alongside Kyle is Dale Jarrett. Does that name sound familiar? It should. His dad is my CBS broadcast colleague, Ned. And earlier this morning, 2 proud fathers walked the backstretch and looked back in wonderment.
Richard, it's Daytona 500, and you're not in the field.
No, I'm not starting the race car, but I'm starting the field, so that's a little bit different.
You know, it hasn't been that long ago that our kids were playing on the beach, staying over at the Royal Beach Motel, and here they are on the front row for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I don't know that means they're getting older. We're getting old, Ned, but, you know, it makes us feel real good. I think that, you know, we come over here and raced years ago, and then, you know, our kids, like you said, played around. Now they're out here racing with each other, so I know I'm real proud of the whole thing.
Can you get as much of a thrill out of Kyle winning as you did when you won?
Probably more of a thrill. You know, I expected myself to win and put the pressure on myself to win, but I think when your son does what you want to do and what you want him to do, I think that that's probably the biggest thrill.
Well, now I can imagine those little boys when they were playing out here in the sand in the infield that they were saying, my daddy's faster than your daddy. Well, here we are now, and your son's faster than mine, at least in qualified.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't think we're going to look at it from that standpoint. We're going to look at it and say, hey, guys, y'all go out and do the best you can. Be careful with the thing and beat each other. So I think that's the way we're looking at it.
All right, good luck to your son.
Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Mike Joy at the front of the Daytona 500 field. Sons of famous fathers. Richard Petty, who waved the green flag today, follows his dad to victory lane in the Daytona 500. Davey Allison's father, Bobby, won it. Davey did too. And now, how about it, pole sitter Kyle Petty?
Well, I'd like to win it. You know, since my grandfather won the first race here at the big track, and my father's had so much success here, and Petty Enterprise in general has, I'd like to add my name to that list too.
You a little nervous?
I tell you what, surprisingly, I'm not as nervous now for the 500 as I am for the qualifying races. The qualifying races always give me butterflies, but you know, to come out and be on the pole here is a big honor and a big accomplishment for this team, and we're a little uptight, but hopefully after they drop the green flag, we'll be all right.
Good luck today. Sons of famous fathers. Opposite on the front row, his dad was twice Grand National Stock Car Champion. You met him a moment ago, Ned Jarrett. His older brother is a TV commentator, Glenn, and here's Dale Jarrett, trying to be another second-generation guy to hit victory lane today.
Yeah, we would sure like to put this Interstate Battery Chevrolet in victory lane, and I believe Jimmy Maycar and Joe Gibbs have given me the race car to do that.
Are you a little nervous this morning?
I was a little bit at first, but we're getting ready to race, getting away from everything, and I'm where I belong right here in the cockpit of this car, so I think everything's fixing to go away and just get down to racing.
Okay, good luck, Dale.
Thanks a lot.
There's another son of a former racing champion in this field, and he's won everything but the Daytona 500. Let's meet him with David Hobbs.
In 89, 90, and 91, Dale Earnhardt led this race with 10 laps to go, never get to win the Daytona 500. Dale, you've won 19 races here with yesterday afternoon's victory. When are you going to win the Daytona 500?
Why not today? You know, our chances are good. We've really run good all week. Race car here won Thursday, so we're in good shape. I think our best chance to win the Daytona 500. Feel good.
You've had a very strong week so far, and we hear on very good authority that you've got an even better engine today than you've been using all week.
Well, it's a brand new one, and it is a good engine. So we got 500 miles to run, 200 laps, so we're going for them.
Well, I'm sure that's very good news for the rest of the field. Now let's go to Ken Squire on the roof.
Well, thank you, David. Dale Earnhardt has won everything here, and in this Daytona 500 he has everything going for him but luck in the last 14 occasions. We're to see what's to happen today. Approximately 3 minutes and counting before the 41 best men today hit the triggers. They're all primed and ready to go and send this thing into orbit for 200 laps. And the race today takes us back a few years, back to about 1978 in speed. They had colossal competition in those days, but it was just as competitive and just as dangerous. And what's brought all this about, Neil Bonnet?
And one thing that's really added to competitiveness of the racing, NASCAR has always had these big rear spoilers on the back of these race cars, but there's been some changes. The principle behind this thing here is like flaps on an airplane. Airplane, you turn them down, you get lift. On a race car, you stand them up, you increase downforce and drag, really stabilize the race car. If you look here, the black area you can see in 92 is 280 inches. This white area, they give them a lot more area to nail the cars down. The key to it is at 40 degrees, where last year they were racing with this thing back. Now they stand it up. It's driving the cars in the racetrack and nailing them down, and these race car drivers are getting pretty cocky in those things.
And to the two-time Winston Cup champion, Ned Jarrett, what's this going to mean for this race?
Well, I think it does make the drivers a little bit braver when they go into the turns, and I think that we'll see a lot of 2 abreast and maybe even 3 abreast racing sometimes because they just feel more confident with the cars. But those speeds are still going to be up there. We'll see laps of 191, 192 miles an hour in drafting. And one thing that those spoilers have done is bringing drafting back to where it's really effective now, because that big spoiler opens up a wide area of vacuum behind the car. So we'll see a lot of cars trying to build up momentum and shoot around someone else. It's going to make for some exciting racing.
The electricity is building right now, and the momentum. And let's go down trackside, the Reverend Hal Marchman for the invocation.
The Reverend Hal Marchman for the 30th year will deliver our invocation.
Let us pray. We thank you, our Heavenly Father, for the freedom and the abundance that we have in America. May we work diligently to preserve all of this for our children and for every generation to come. We thank you today for this reunion with friends from all over the world who've come here to experience and enjoy the ultimate in stock car racing. We invoke your blessing on everyone who participates in any way to bring about this exciting event. Help us to be a caring people. Shalom and amen.
From the state of Michigan, our Grand Marshal, United States Congressman John Dingell.
Hello, Mike. It's great to be here. Wonderful spectacle, the best in the country. And our people here are going to have a wonderful time seeing the best drivers, the best car, and quite frankly, the best spectacle. Well, I'm delighted to be here. Is it time? It's time to say it. Gentlemen, start your engine.
The 35th Daytona 500 comes to life. Stay tuned for CBS live flag-to-flag coverage of the Great American Race.
Over the years, I've been pretty tough on cars, but hey, man, I wasn't paid to be gentle. Nowadays, I got a little bit different attitude. I own these babies. You know, the better we take care of our equipment, the longer it lasts. And we always use STP products and have for the last 25 or 30 years. The maintenance, preventive maintenance, is what it's all about. The problem is, some crazy kid always wants to drive it.
What does a high-speed turn at Daytona have to do with a left turn on Elm Street? At Ford, we race more to learn more about things like safety, because there's nothing like hugging a wall at 200 miles an hour to learn how to improve crosswind stability, or racing in a crowd to learn about safer, more responsive handling. And what we learn in this rush hour traffic, you can use in yours. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Burt Reynolds for Quaker State.
The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will. You know, when it comes to protecting against friction, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to protecting against viscosity breakdown, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to keeping engines clean, nothing beats Quaker State. Take it from me, for unbeatable protection, nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
I can't explain it. You're kind of in a limbo zone. Time's different, the speed's different, everything works different. It sounds totally cosmic, believe me. It's out there somewhere.
Kyle Petty and mellow yellow. There's nothing mellow about him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the starting order for the 1993 Daytona 500. Celebrating his first pole at Daytona, Kyle Petty, and alongside another second-generation driver, Dale Jarrett. In row 2, 21-year-old Jeff Gordon. Most kids at 13 are pinball wizards. At 13, he was a national racing champion. And this past Thursday, in the 125-mile qualifying races here at Daytona, he flew to victory, youngest ever to win. Starts third today. Alongside, in his 15th 500, Dale Earnhardt. Row 3, two-time 500-mile champion Bill Elliott, and the 86 winner, Jeff Bodine. In row 4, it's Ken Schrader, who nearly won it in '89, and Ernie Irvan. Back in high school, he was a tennis star. Still plays a mean game of racquetball, rolls over the competition, even if it's his own son. Brand new dad Bobby Hillen starts 9th, and defending Winston Cup champion Alan Kowicki alongside. For row 6, it's Davey Allison, the defending Daytona champion. 1992 had some of his greatest moments and some of his worst. Ricky Rudd will start 12th. He'll ride anything that goes fast, but he has just as much enjoyment out with a personal friend right here as performing in front of 100,000 today here at Daytona. Ricky Rudd.
For row 7, it's Mississippi's Lake Speed and Sterling Marlin from Tennessee. Row 8, driving the Richard Petty colors, Rick Wilson and Phil Parsons, who had a great qualifying run. Row 9, it's Chad Little from Washington, Alabama's Hut Strickland. Row 10, Texas' Terry Labonte and Brett Bodine from New York. In row 11, it's Dick Trickle from Wisconsin and Colorado's Wally Dallenbach Jr. Row 12, Mark Martin from Arkansas and the rookie Kenny Wallace. Rookie Bobby Labonte starts inside row 13 and the 89 champion Darrell Waltrip on the outside. For row 14, it's Bobby Hamilton and Michael Waltrip. Row 15, Jimmy Horton and Jimmy Spencer. Everybody has a workout area at home. Take a look at Jimmy's. Twisted Jimmy. Jimmy Spencer. Row 16 is Rick Mass, and driving for the Wood brothers, Morgan Shepherd. In row 17, Ted Musgrave, what an outstanding sophomore, and Rusty Wallace, the 89 Winston Cup champion. Row 18, Derek Cope. He won this race back in 1990, but he wanted a career in baseball. A knee injury put him into auto racing, and what a Cinderella story. Alongside is Joe Ruttman. For row 19, Harry Gant, the old-timers there, and Jimmy Hensley driving the Jimmy Means car. In row 20, Jim Sauter from Wisconsin, and from New Mexico, Al Unser Jr. My, what an impression he made on the wall in the 125-mile qualifier back on Thursday. And the defending Indy 500 champion will come out fighting. 41st and rounding out the field, making his 26th consecutive start in the 500, Dave Marcus from Wausau, Wisconsin. That's your field for the great American race. 500 miles, 200 laps for $2.5 million here today. 3 pace laps, of which the first has been completed. We'll be back for the start of the 500 in just a moment. Stand by.
You start it every morning. Start after start after start. When most of your oil is still down in the pad, you start metal-to-metal contact. You start engine wear. Now help stop it with the latest breakthrough from STP. Engine treatment. It bonds right to engine parts. Independent tests proved it. Just add a quart at your next oil change and help stop engine wear before you start with STP engine treatment.
Imagine these are tires. Now, when you're driving in the rain, you need traction. You see, Goodyear could make tires this hard to last a zillion miles, but we'd give up wet traction. At Goodyear, we like to balance tread wear and traction. It's the Goodyear formula for traction, for impressive tread life and outstanding traction. Think about it. Try a set of Goodyear radials. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Imagine a deodorant that keeps a man feeling as clean and fresh as this all through the day. Well, this is it. Introducing New Band for Men. Clean and fresh because it goes on clear. And New Band for Men sets up a clear shield of protection against odor. Actually fights odor for a full 24 hours. Feel this clean. Feel this fresh. Try New Clear Band for Men deodorant.
And you couldn't have a better day for a race. Hardly a cloud in the sky here at Daytona as the field is in their final preparatory lap. There you see the record. Baker, 1980, 177 miles per hour. Do you think anyone can broach that today?
Well, even though we've slowed these race cars down, don't let us lull you into sleeping and think they're not going fast. 191, 192 miles an hour. They're going to be plenty fast.
Depend on the number of cautions as far as the average speed is concerned. Let's hope there aren't many.
Pit boards are out, and on the starter stand, the king. Yep, Richard Petty is starting this Daytona 500 from the flag stand. Took off the cowboy hat.
First time I've seen him in a long time without cowboy hat. Be the first caution for getting the hat off the track, though.
Yeah, when those cars come by, it creates a pretty good draft past that flagman stand, and he knew that.
I promise you, Richard would much rather be sitting in one of those cars and waving that flag, but he's got a competent guy in that car right now, too.
From Jeff Bodine's
onboard camera as the field rounds that 31-degree banking. From Rick Wilson in the Petty car and from Waltrip. 2 other cameras will be in play, 2 other cars in the course of the day. And let's listen as they come down for the start of the 35th annual Daytona 500. We have a race.
I think the key to see is how racy do they want to be early.
Three wide in the backstretch. 21-year-old Jeff Gordon down to the inside, going for the lead at turn 3.
There's Bill Elliott right in behind him. Earlier in the week, they told Jeff Gordon to lay back and learn, but here he comes.
And Kyle Petty didn't want any of that 3 abreast racing. He's back there in 3 abreast, but he backed off going into that turn. Who's going to lead this first lap?
Down the line, lap 1. Gordon from Pittsburgh, Indiana. The kid that blew him away on Thursday comes back and leads the first lap. Do you think this is what we're going to see all day?
Well, I knew we'd see a lot of side-by-side racing, and it takes a couple of laps to get these cars up to absolute full speed. But look at Earnhardt coming up behind Jarrett now. He's going to push him on out into the lead.
You see from Bodine, who had been running in 6s, he brings that Ford up through. Out in front, as they round the corner, it will be Dale Jarrett going into first place. Jarrett flying.
Look at Davey Allison coming down on the inside. He had it 3 abreast there for a moment, but he singled back out, got it in just to 2 abreast. Certainly through the trial is not the place to be 3 abreast, but look back there, Darrell Waltrip is doing it down on the inside.
Earnhardt to second.
What? Dale Jarrett had been strong all week long, and the consensus through the garage this morning was the 18, the 3, and the 15, and that's the 3 cars we're seeing out front.
Caution flag is out. Yellow is down.
The debris on the track, or we have a car over in turn 2.
That could be Dick Trickle, who's blown an engine in the Raymock car. Remember the 5th place finisher a year ago? That was Dick Trickle driving for Raymock. Raymock's had some great finishes here. 2nd with Lake Speed, a 3rd with Joe Ruttman, 4th with Neil Bonnet. They were hoping to do better today. Had a brand new sponsor and all, but for Dick Trickle, 5th place finisher. In 1992, it ends early. Blown engine. Dick Trickle retires. We'll be back in a moment.
Son of a gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car. What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
Why use Valvoline motor oil? It's the #1 choice of Indy 500 chief mechanics. Daytona 500 chief mechanics. NHRA mechanics. And Baja 1000 mechanics. For use in their race cars and in their own cars. Any more questions? People who know use Valvoline.
Starting cost you to race in this business.
The winningest battery of NASCAR isn't a special racing battery.
I have well over 600 NASCAR starts with a Die-Hard battery.
It's exactly the same battery you can buy for your car at Sears.
You have to be crazy to come out here without a Die-Hard.
Sears Die-Hard, the official battery of NASCAR.
I have never had a failure on the starting line yet.
You can count on me.
Die-Hard. More power when you need it most.
I can't explain it. You're kind of in a limbo zone. Time's different, the speed's different. Everything works different. It sounds totally cosmic. What do you mean? It's out there somewhere. It's out there somewhere.
Kyle Petty and mellow yellow. There's nothing mellow about them.
Relive the great American race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. To order by credit card, call now 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. Only $19.98 plus $3 shipping and handling. Our overhead shots today are from the Goodyear blimp, Stars and Stripes. At the controls is Captain Dick Esch from Sunrise, Florida. There she is. Been here every year for the 500. And there you see the field, now working at lap 5 under caution. Caution came out at lap 3 for Dick Trickle. There you see the car rolling back for 51-year-old Dick Trickle, who came down here actually years ago and ran in 1970. Used to make some singular performances in the 500. Now he runs it regularly. Here's Mike Joy.
21-year-old Jeff Gordon, starting only his second Winston Cup race, went right to the front on lap 1. Ray Evernham's his team manager. How are you going to keep this kid in check for 200 laps?
I think he'll keep himself in check. He just wanted to see how strong the car was and if he could lead. So now he's led his first Winston Cup lap in official competition. So we're just going to, we really need to finish this race, and we're just going to let it play out as it comes along. The car feels real good right now, and we'll let him go as he feels comfortable.
Well, there's a reminder for him. If he gets going too fast when he comes into this pit, there's a sign to help him find it. Ray will just drop the hammer on him.
That looks like something Joe Gibbs might have left around. There's Joe Gibbs' car right up in front. 3-time winner of the Super Bowl. 1 to go, and they come by this time. Light is off on the pace car. Earnhardt will be in second. Jeff Bodine deployed in third. Gordon is fourth.
Got a hot dog wrapper on there. Something looks like contains nutrients. I'm not sure what they are. It's like some kind of wrapper blew up on our camera.
It's up on the roof cam. Here's Chris Economaki.
Well, looking at what's happening here, I think the Rookie of the Year contest is already heavily weighted in favor of Jeff Gordon. Only 2 other rookies are challenging, Kenny Wallace and Bobby Labonte. But the way Gordon has gone, winning on Thursday and now leading this lap, it looks like one award he's almost assured of.
Looked like that was an intentional run, Ned, to get right up there and show these folks that he was not going to be intimidated by any big names out here today.
It's important for every driver in this field to try to lead a lap in any Winston Cup race they can, because there's a 5-point bonus anytime you lead, and the more times you can do it, well, you know, just that many bonus points adds up during the year.
No rookie has ever led the opening lap of the Daytona 500 until this young man did it today.
Yeah, he's not only a young man, he's a young racer. He gets after that thing. He's won in every type of racing he's been in, and he's ready to go in this.
Elliott back in 6th, Kowicki is 7th, Schrader in 8th, Bobby Hill in 9th, Ricky Rudd in 10th, Sterling Martin in 11th, Brett Bodine in 12th, and Kyle Petty, pole sitter, back in 13th, as we get ready to rumble once again in the Daytona 500.
Elbow Langley takes the pace car to pit road. We're going green at lap number 7. Green flag is in there.
At 7, they're back on the green.
That's the first time we've seen them single file since the race started, because it was mandatory, but they won't stay that way long.
Wonder who figured it out, who was ahead of the other one when they came in by the start-finish line, because there were a lot of 2-abreast racing coming back there to get the yellow flag.
There's the car down inside now.
Looks like Bobby Hillen slipped out of the draft. Hillen, the non-Levy car with a brand new sponsor.
And here's Earnhardt. He has a run going on Dale Jarrett going into turn 3, and Jeff Bodine pushing him right along.
Jeff Gordon right behind him. Jarrett back to 4th. Ernie Irvin coming up on the inside. Irvin going for 5th in the yellow number 4. We identify these cars by color some. We know a lot of you regular race fans know them well. We'd like to welcome a lot of new folks to one of the most exciting sports in the world. And its peak, the Daytona 500.
There's a chance we'll see a lot of that type of passing today. It takes 2 or 3 guys ganging up on another one. There was Jarrett leading in the green car, and all of a sudden the black car of Earnhardt and the red one, they got together, they slung right on by him.
Davey Allison's race cam tucked right in behind Brett Bodine.
There's Davey. You see Kyle Petty directly in front of him. Davey's trying to get a sniff off of that Kyle's car so he can pull on in.
Picks up 14th position. Goes after Schrader. There you see Kyle up there. Ricky Rudd on the outside.
Kyle pulls back in line.
STP Race Cam giving us these exciting pictures. You're watching it live. A 191-mile-an-hour draft down through the tri-oval. Now with Rick Wilson's camera, the roof camera, looking out over the field.
See, it didn't lift when he went into the turn. You could hear that motor just kept purring, wide open.
I'll tell you, the way these guys are running, they're going to probably lift when they need some more fuel. They're going to have to keep them wide open all day.
Just bites the bullet and hold on for 500 miles. Earnhardt in front. Bodine, the 86 champion, in second. And the 21-year-old rookie, Jeff Gordon, holding third.
Don't think those cars move fast?
Yeah, who said they slowed them down? Looks pretty quick to me.
About as fast as a small airplane would land at any airport in America.
I think people lose perspective when we back off with a camera like this and take that big shot. We're running 2.5 miles, and they're getting around it pretty quick. When you zero in, you can really see the speed.
190.5 miles an hour that last lap. That's faster than they qualified.
Bodine trying to push forward up in front for the first time in the 35th run into the 500. Jeff Bodine, number 15. Remember 86? Earnhardt had it won. Not to be. Earnhardt came home all the way to within 10 laps. Bodine took the checkers.
There's Ernie Irvan. He jumped down the inside. He's going to try it. See if he can get around some of these guys and get to the front.
Wheel to wheel with a red number 11 of Bill Elliott. That's Ernie Irvan, 1991. He won it.
Irvan has a Chevrolet buddy of Ken Schrader down on the inside with him, and that'll help him. You need, as Neil mentioned earlier, you need a couple of cars working together to be able to make a pass.
It's no different than having a boat and having one engine on it and taking that same boat and putting another motor with it. They're busting up the same amount of air. You just need more power to make it happen.
Ernie Irvan on the inside. Number 11, Elliott on the outside.
What's unique about this, Irvan can see that opening up there in front of Bill Elliott, but he just can't get there. You just try and say, come on, car, come on, but he can't get that pull up there.
Battle for fifth.
Now Bobby Hillin has pulled out behind the Chevrolet of Ken Schrader.
Ernie Irvan's race cam. Riding that Kodak car as it pulls through the field up in fifth. We got a smoker, and that
Jimmy
is Hensley getting out of control. The Jimmy Means car socks the wall.
Boy, what a tough break this crew has had down here. He lost a car in practice earlier in the week, then got involved in a crash not of his own making in the 125-mile qualifying race. It looked like the engine might have let go, or at least there was smoke as he went into the turn. And here Jimmy Hensley and Jimmy Means' car out of it again here early in the Daytona 500.
Field backing down as they come around to finish lap number 12. Jimmy Hensley taking over for Jimmy Means, who crashed out here on Wednesday. Broke his shoulder blade. He's out for a month. Hensley, last year's Winston Cup Rookie of the Year, giving it his best shot. I believe you're right. Looked like a motor went away on car number 52. And that's the end for the Jimmy Means team and Jimmy Hensley in the 500. Replay coming up shortly. They still have pit road blocked off.
There he is going down the first turn. Like Ned said, we see a lot of smoke, but if you look close, you see liquid. That liquid got under the right rear tire of that car. There's nothing he could do. The thing just got out from under him. And like Ned said, they've lost 3 cars this week. It's a shame.
Take a look at his crew here.
Yeah, the crew is looking at the replay of the crash. Too bad.
It's a great crew, great team, and luck has never gone their way here at Daytona. Back in a moment.
Ford trucks, the best, never rest.
You're right. Ford does build in toughness. But we also build in things that help you drive safely. 4-wheel anti-lock brakes are standard on Explorer and Bronco.
Built-in child seats are available on Aerostar, and both Aerostar and Club Wagon offer driver's side airbags. Ford builds tough trucks.
But we also build long-term relationships.
The best-built, best-selling American trucks are built Ford tough.
Hey, guys. Hey, Jerry. Early for you, 12:30.
No hurry, Hank. Got some lunch on the way over. I'll just settle in here with this nice Big Mac. You take your time, because I got these 2 all-beef patties and special sauce to work on. And I know Charlie there's got to look good for that wedding.
When you've just got to have a Big Mac, you're having a Big Mac attack.
What you want is what you get.
2 Big Macs, please. I got this one, Charlie.
And McDonald's today.
Man, we're out here to test. Nothing but rain. Hey, where's Mario?
2 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
I hear your power is looking good for you this year.
It's unbelievable.
It's run pretty hot in the tight draft, though.
Got that pretty well beat.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf.
I'm wide open all the time.
The only way to do it.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Quit raining, please.
So you're into statistics. Well, here's a couple you may have missed. Over the past 5 years, cocaine-related deaths have more than tripled, while deaths involving heroin have nearly doubled. Every year, tens of thousands who gamble with drugs pay the ultimate price. If you don't believe these numbers, come and see for yourself, because here is where they keep all of the final statistics on file.
Where there's help, there's hope.
Every seat has been sold for months. Standing room is packed here. You can't find a space to see this race. Hope you're enjoying it at home today. And what a race we've had in the first moments with Earnhardt. Consider this. Last year he did not lead a single lap until after April. And here in '93, starting the season leading 7. Jeff Bodine stays in that second position. Jeff Gordon 3rd, Jarrett 4th, Ernie Irvan in 5th spot. A little further back, there you see Elliott, Kowicki to Fords. Bobby Hillen having a good run in 10th. Let's go back to the 15th position here. See Brett Bodine, Ricky Rudd, Marlin, Wally Dallenbach, who's run well all week, and Davey Allison. Here's Mike Joy.
Robin Pemberton is Kyle Petty's crew chief. He dropped back out of the top 10 after starting on the pole. What happened on those opening laps?
Well, they just got a good run at him on the start. They went down each side of them. It's not the time to be real aggressive, at least not in our part.
Did Heel and Dale Jarrett have a little scrape?
Yeah, it was, from what Dale said, he apologized for it. It wasn't his fault. You know, they were coming on him pretty hard, and pressure was real. I mean, it was just one of them things, you know.
We're going to hear that line a lot today. David Hobbs?
I'm with Donnie Wingo, Brett Bodine's mechanic. Donnie, he's hanging in there in second place. The Fords were reputed to be uncompetitive this week. He looks pretty strong at the moment.
Yeah, right now we're kind of just trying to hold her own, just riding along there. We're trying to wait, and hopefully we'll get a little spot where we can get a little help up there. We can see what we can do.
How does he feel about having Jeff Gordon, first ever time in the 500, right behind him?
Well, he said the car feels pretty good right now. You know, he's real comfortable with it. He's not having any problem.
Okay, so he's not worried about having that rookie right with him?
No.
Okay, thanks. Back to you, Ken.
Big names are struggling here as we look from the pace car back over the field, getting set on a restart. There's Hensley's car leaving the 500. Darrell Waltrip was running 36 under green just before that accident. There you see he's pitted and come back out again. Harry Gant, he was running back in 39th just before we had that caution period, and Al Unser Jr. is in 31st, so he's picked up 9 spots on the 46 car. But for the old-timer, Harry Gant, it's not much fun out there right now. Getting set on a restart. Coming by. They will show 15 laps complete, and we're ready to go racing once again in the Daytona 500. Earnhardt pacing the field. Bodine in second, Gordon in third, Dale Jarrett fourth, Ernie Irvan fifth. In sixth is Bill Elliott, seventh Kowicki, eighth Schrader, ninth Kyle Petty, 10th Bobby Hillen, running 11th Brett Bodine, and 12th Ricky Rudd.
Running single file down the backstretch into turn 3.
Dale Earnhardt in his 15th 500, still trying to win it for the first time. The 5-time Winston Cup champion. He won here in the 400 on the 4th of July.
When we watch these cars come down, sometimes the guy behind you dictates what you do in front of him. if we see Irvin in the 4-car, he's been really moving up through the field as he went along. If he makes a move, I don't doubt some of those lead cars will jump over and try to lead him to the front. So they're waiting for one guy to make a move so they can counter with it.
Kyle Petty jumped out of line.
Yeah, he's trying to make a move. You know, he was back to 13th. He's coming on back up through there. He has a fast race car.
Up to 9th and closing on the inside, getting some help.
Usually when you see a guy like Kyle coming in the mirror, one of the other guys up front will move out and try to get in front of him so they can lead that group on in. If Kyle works closer to the front, I wouldn't doubt to see some of those other cars work with him.
There you see Kyle, Ricky Rudd trying to assist right there behind him, and Sterling Marlin in the picture. Or is that Musgrave? Oh, it is Sterling Marlin back on the bottom.
Here's Jeff Gordon trying to make a move down on the inside going into turn 1 as we watch Ricky Rudd and Kyle Petty in that group passing back there.
Remember Kyle in 9th. Here's Gordon. A couple of Fords side by side.
Well, let's see. Is he going to get help, or is Jeff Bodine, Dale Jarrett going up on the outside? And here comes Kyle Petty. He wants to make it 3 abreast.
13th, just 2 laps ago, going back for the lead. Kyle on the bottom. Well, you talk about some power. Kyle Petty puts it down.
Boy,
here he comes.
He had some momentum coming off of turn 2 and just drove her right down to the inside and right up there battling for the lead all the way from 6th place, Neil.
Very impressive. Here's going to be the key. All week long, we haven't seen anyone be able to drive up there and take the lead away from Earnhardt. Let's see if they can do it today.
Kyle Petty trying to maintain a family tradition. Grandfather won the first one. Dad won this race 7 times. Now Kyle trying to win it for the first, and he's already equaled his father's mark, having won the pole. His father only won the Daytona pole once, back in '66, when he won the race.
Ned, this looks like a heat race on a Friday or Saturday night on a little half-mile track. These guys are racing early.
Here comes the rookie, Gordon, back for second.
He just pushed Kyle Petty right on out into the lead around Dale Earnhardt.
Ricky Rudd looking strong in 4th. This has never been his race. The Chesapeake, Virginia driver, and that number 5 on the bottom, working under Earnhardt now. Interval, 1st to 17th. 1st to 17th, 1 and 1/10 seconds.
Now Thursday here in the qualifying races, the high grooves seem to be the place to do the passing. They've adjusted their cars a lot since then. Different temperature today, and it looks like the inside is working at least early in the race.
Ricky Rudd doing the inside hustle. Here he comes after Earnhardt. Here's your leader, Kyle Petty. Jeff Gordon, a name you're going to hear a lot about for years to come. From Pittsburgh, Indiana, originally out of California. They moved to Indiana when he was just 13. Richard Petty looking on at number 44. Mixed emotions for him today. He's got Rick Wilson out in the race. And he's got Kyle Petty fighting to win this race, his son.
Yeah, Richard Petty, he's been saying he's retired. Today is the first day that he's officially retired. He's not in that car anymore.
I started to say about this Gordon. They moved over to the Indiana area when he was 13 so he could get into sprint car racing. They wouldn't allow it out in California. He was the national champion. And let's take a look at some telemetry for a moment.
Jeff Bodine's car, you can see his speed getting up to 191 miles an hour down the backstretch in the draft. Those RPMs going up about 6,900.
Running in 7th spot. Slipping back a little there.
Well, there's a lot of close, tight racing here now. See, Earnhardt has finally gotten back down on the inside. That's where he likes to run. And they had him pushed up on the outside for a while. And he has moved back to the inside now.
4 abreast right through the tri-oval behind them. We saw 4 cars wide. These guys are making a lot of shuffling early in this race.
Rudd looking very strong up front.
Gordon looking for the lead and finding it. Rudd coming to second.
3 abreast right behind Rudd.
Sterling Marlin in the middle. Schrader, the 25, on the bottom. This at 190 miles an hour as you watch it live. The great American race.
Now here's 2 guys, Earnhardt and Schrader, that like to work together. We just saw 2 cars move up through there and take the lead. Let's see if these other 2 guys can do that.
Mike Joy.
Not only that, Ken, but I'm told that Jeff Gordon, Ken Schrader, Ricky Rudd, and Al Unser, the 4 Rick Hendrick-owned cars, by changing the channel on their 2-way radio, not only can they talk to their pits, they can talk to each other.
Gotta have teamwork.
Yep.
Look at Schrader. Look at Schrader closing in. Going for the lead for the first time today, Ken Schrader. Remember in '89, everything went his way until the end of the race. Here's Schrader making a great move on the bottom. And Ken Schrader's back big time. 7 the pole 3 years in a row. Another driver like Earnhardt, a bit star-crossed here in the Daytona 500. But what a tremendous racer he is out of Fenton, Missouri.
Looks like we're actually seeing contact off of that corner. I saw a couple of cars bouncing together off the corner there.
Well, look at this. 17, 18 cars about a second apart at 190 miles per hour. I mean, talk about your rush hour traffic. There it is.
And you wonder how long they can run this way and jockey around and somebody not make a mistake.
Looking further back through the field, there you see Rick Wilson in the 44, trying to get himself. He's fallen back into 24th.
There's Hud Strickland in the 27 car. Brand new ride for him this year in the Junior Johnson stable.
Bobby Hamilton right behind him in the 68.
There's the 1989 Winston Cup champion Rusty Wallace in the black car with the yellow bumpers on it.
And right behind him is Terry Labonte in that black and white number 14. Back with the leaders. Labonte running back in 26th position in that picture. For the lead, Earnhardt. Chevy against Chevy. 3 Chevys up in front. Last lap at 191.2.
They're getting faster and faster. Schrader was able to pull the line quicker than anybody so far. We'll have to see if Earnhardt can pick those numbers up.
Chevrolet the top 3, Ford in 4th. Chris Economaki.
While you guys are watching that great battle up front, I've been watching Al Unser Jr. He has lap 24. He is 20th place. He started 40th. He's passed 20 cars so far, and he's on his way.
What a run he is having. And remember, that's a backup car. Car in the 125 was torn up.
Yeah, but the key to that backup car is that's Ken Schrader's Busch Clash car. When Al lost that car in the 125, Rick Hendrick said, hey, look, we're going to give you a good one. They gave him Schrader's Busch car that he ran second, so this car has got a lot of potential.
Davey Allison looking back at Unser. Unser came in here with an orange and black car, and it became a white car as part of that Schrader team. Coming back for the lead. And those are Chevys. 1 through 4. Kowicki now puts a Ford into 5th. I think I said Jeff Gordon a moment ago was in a Ford. That is an error. He is in that Hendrick Chevrolet team. Rick Hendrick has told us he thinks this kid is the franchise for the years to come, and he sure looked it out here, winning a 125-mile qualifier, becoming the youngest to do so. So it's Earnhardt staying up in front for the moment. And we'll be back with more live exclusive coverage of the Daytona 500 on CBS Sports after this message and a word from your local station.
One use of STP fuel injector cleaner helps remove clogging deposits. And that should be of passing interest to a lot of drivers. STP fuel injector cleaner.
Fixodent Fresh. The spring water fresh feeling is reason enough to try it. And it's the strongest holding adhesive, so you'll never settle for anything less. Crisp freshness. Strongest hold. 2 great reasons to Fixodent and forget it.
This is CBS.
Every year, millions of gallons of motor oil are poured down drains, dumped on the ground, and tossed into landfills. It's a crying shame for the environment and for everybody in it. That's why Advance Auto Parts provides free oil recycling at every store 7 days a week. Bring your used motor oil to Advance and make the future a cleaner, safer, happier place. For all of us.
Atlantique salmon du old McDonald?
Grady's fresh farm-raised North Atlantic salmon.
Canecon Brooklyn.
Nope. Grady's New York strip.
Le beurre d'anchois.
Wrong. Grady's grilled chicken salad. At Grady's American Grill, we believe the place to show off is in the kitchen. You'll find that reflected throughout our menu, which you'll never need a translator for. Good things happen at Grady's.
The Daytona 500 is sponsored by Goodyear, #1 in tires. Budweiser, the king of beers with that fresh, pure, natural taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
After 28 laps, Dale Earnhardt in front, Schrader then in second, Irvin third, Gordon fourth, Alan Kowicki fifth, but there's a wholesale change every lap out here as we continue. 17 cars in the first draw up there in that top draft. Here's Schrader, tucked right in there, holding on to Earnhardt. Those Chevrolets stacked up, but now notice Alan Kowicki's Ford beginning to penetrate the top 5. Take a look further back in the field here. There you see number 30, Michael Waltrip, having a very good run. Right with him now is Ricky Rudd. Michael Waltrip in that 13th position, Rudd in 14th. Jimmy Spencer in the number 12, the Bobby Allison car, running behind them in 15th.
There's a change for the lead. Schrader's around Earnhardt. There comes Ernie Irvin in the 4 car. They made the shuffle off turn 2, and they cleared Earnhardt.
And Kowicki trying to push the Ford up to its highest spot thus far. Under green, here comes Alan Kowicki down on the inside, working Jeff Gordon on the outside in the 24.
Kowicki was very strong in practice here yesterday afternoon and turning some of the better laps.
Take a look at Alan Kowicki. Ernie Irvin has this view. Whoa.
Well, look how close they're getting there, Ned.
They get awfully close. Too close for comfort.
Bobbing, weaving, now pulling away. Was that a cushion of air we saw right there?
That's exactly what it was. There was a little bit of a vacuum that he hit. He first of all hit a little bit of a wall of air. And look there, he has the momentum now down on the inside. It's sort of like driving on the freeway and you come up behind or a big truck. You pass it and you feel that blast of air off of it. Well, that's exactly what they're doing here at 190 miles an hour.
Kowicki pushes number 7 up into second spot, then falls back to third. As Earnhardt, they try to stack them 3 wide in the tri-oval.
They can stack them like that, but they can't leave it stacked that way. They got to straighten them out into turn 1. While they were doing this shuffling, Schrader got a little bit of a lead on them. Here we see Earnhardt pulling up behind Schrader with a 4 car down inside of Kowicki.
33 of 200 laps complete. David Hobbs is standing by with Waddell Wilson.
Chris Economaki just took the words out of my mouth. Little Al's having an incredible run from the back of the field. I'm with Waddell Wilson. Are you surprised the way Al's going?
Well, I really am. You know, we're the backup car, which is Kenny Schrader, the Kodiak car. And here he's out here, and he's passed half the field already. And he's talking about the race car. Right now, the car is pushing. And we're going to adjust it as soon as we make our pit stop. And hopefully we can get it better. But, you know, working with him all week, you know, it's been a thrill. And, you know, he has the ability, the unbelievable. And his father's here in the pits with us. And you know, they're great people to be with.
You got 2 rookies in the Hendricks team. They both seem to be going pretty well so far.
I know, you know, but, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, behind all this. And it's a big operation. And there's a lot goes into it to make the cars run good.
Thanks. Well, there's a long way to go. Back to you, Ken.
Ken, I think
runs in that 17th. Sorry, Neil.
Ken, I think one of the keys, when we see Unser in this car, I think out of all the IndyCar drivers that participate in IROC and everything, Unser has shown the ability to work that draft as well as anyone. I think it wouldn't be a surprise if this guy came in here and got up here and led this race.
And one of the big surprises is how well he's gotten along. Everybody seems to like Al Unser. Waddell Wilson was telling me that he's become the spirit of the team. They really think that he can do a number out here in the 500.
Well, when he walks into the garage area, he commands a lot of respect. He, as Neil says, he's very versatile. He can drive stock cars. Of course, he's proven he can drive the Indy cars. Whatever he gets in, he's a winning type of a driver.
Here he comes after Allison. Davey Allison running 16th, Unser 17th, Dallenbach 18th, and Wilson the 44 19th. Back up in front.
35 laps complete this time by. Schrader, Earnhardt, Kowicki, Irvin, Jeff Gordon back there in 5th. And Sterling Marlin for the Stavola brothers is having a fine ride in that 6th spot at the moment. Just behind him is pole sitter Kyle Petty. Jeff Gordon looking at him there, running in 5th position. Here's Mike.
Alan Kulwicki has the only Ford among those Chevrolets. And who says auto racing's not a two-team sport like baseball or football? Paul Andrews, is that little Ford a little lonely out there in that group of 5 Chevys?
Well, that's not bothering us too much. You know, it's all a bunch of good drivers out there, and Alan's doing a heck of a job right now. You know, Alan just says the car is perfect, and we're just going to run where we can run.
Ken, it's the most confident I've seen Kulwicki on race morning ever.
Wicky's the first one to tell you his Speedway program hasn't been up to par. He said, even though I won the championship, we've got to work on our Speedway program. Looks like they've made some big gains through the winter.
Best Daytona finish was 4th just a year ago. Alan Kulwicki in number 7.
And pit stops will be coming up here in the next 10 to 12 laps. A number of cars pitted during those cautions, so they can go a while as far as fuel is concerned. Alan Kulwicki trying to move up a little farther, but it's tough down there on the inside when you're by yourself.
Got left out on that one. There you see Schrader first, Earnhardt second, Ernie Irvin third. Kyle Petty's picked up a little ground. $2.5 million at stake here this afternoon. Sugared off in this 500. And Schrader has been close, but it's never been his. And for the moment, he and Earnhardt in a skirmish up in front with Ernie Irvin right behind them. As you look again at Jeff Gordon closing in. He'll be a factor before this day is over.
We thought we'd been everywhere, seen everything. We were wrong.
We're back to the bone. We're back to the bone.
These guys were weird, and we liked it. Later, they took us to the Tower of Bud. Brother, tomorrow we ride again.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? For their race cars and their own cars, Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics, from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
Imagine this is a sidewall of a tire. The whole idea is to keep the tread area in level contact with the road, or you'll lose traction, especially in cornering. Now, Goodyear has learned a lot in Turn 1 at Indy and applied that knowledge to Eagle street radials. In cornering, there's a lot of force trying to lift the tire, but Goodyear Eagle's racing-inspired sidewall design works to hold the tire firmly to the road. Eagle radials, only from Goodyear. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
They're coming out now, is it? Yeah, here they go.
And the winner is Ford Probe GT.
We recently accepted the Motor Trend Car of the Year award. But the real trophy is yours to take home. Ford Probe GT. A lean, carved shape. A button-down cockpit. Pure 24-valve performance. And now, Motor Trend Car of the Year.
Relive the great American race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. To order by credit card, call now 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. Only $19.98. Plus $3 shipping and handling.
I'm with Al Unser Sr., 4 times the Indy 500 winner, and the father of a man out on the track who's going great guns. Al, you raced in the Daytona 500 a number of years ago. How tough is it for an IndyCar driver to adapt to this kind of racing?
Well, Chris, I don't think it's that tough. In other words, race cars are race cars. When you get behind the wheel, you automatically adapt to it right away. In this type of racing, It's more the drafting. You have to figure out where you're at on the racetrack for drafting. But you automatically are able to adjust to the car right away.
What about Al out there, Al, not knowing any of the guys around him? They're all strangers. Is that tough on him?
Well, in a way it is, Chris, but he has to pick out the cars that he wants to run with that are running as quick or quicker than he is so he can pick it up. So you automatically do that. It doesn't make any difference. You just try to make sure that whoever you're following doesn't make a mistake, and you don't.
Okay, thanks very much for coming by. Al Unser Sr., rooting for his son.
And underplaying how good his son is. I mean, a lot of guys have tried to make the conversion, and they haven't made it, and this guy is looking good now in 19th position. And let's not forget for a moment that Al Unser came here and finished fourth back in 1968 in the old Cotton Owens Dodge. That Unser family, some racers.
I think when you're an Unser, it's easy to say another Unser can run fast on these racetracks. That family is very talented in any type of race car.
Lake Speed, second in 85, is right behind Unser, closing on the backstretch. It's a good little battle. And remember, Unser has come from 40th position, next to last on the starting grid. Back with the leaders. Earnhardt there, looking for that 54th career win, but the one that would be most important to him. As Darrell Waltrip, so many have said, until you've tasted victory at Daytona, you don't understand what victory means in Winston Cup racing.
Going down in turn one, Kyle Petty got 3 wide, got around one car and got up beside Jeff Gordon. He made a 3 wide pass around Sterling Marlin. He's up beside him. He can't hardly clear him, though.
Going for 5th place. But he just doesn't have a momentum to go on by. Let's see what he does when he goes into turn 3. Nobody on his back bumper to help him there.
Yeah, that's when you're sitting on the edge of your seat, kind of inching that car along, trying to get it to make that last move.
But look at Kyle get right down to the inside of the racetrack. He has a quicker corner speed than does Jeff Gordon and makes the pass. I tell you, that's a good sign. These tires are really heated up. We said pit stops are coming up here in the next 5 to 10 laps. And a man that can stick that close to the bottom of the racetrack as fast as he's running, that means he has a good handling race car.
And look at that yellow number 30. That's Michael Waltrip from 28th position. Remember, last year he was leading with 30 laps to go. It looked like it was going to be his 500, and then the engine went away for Michael Waltrip. Having a very good run, and his brother Darrell is not having a good day. Darrell's car continues to back up in 35th position at the present time. You saw Mark Martin and then Bodine, and here is Michael Waltrip.
We see those cars drafting down that back straight, and we'll see an abrupt move over in traffic. When that door opens, you jump in there. You don't worry about how rude you are. You better get out of that inside lane and get out there in that draft.
Dale Jarrett back in 14th after running off that front row. A lot of time to go. Wants to stay in that lead lap to halfway. And as we follow the leaders, we're going to show you a running order here. We've completed 46 laps officially, but this is the complete field back when they came to the 40-lap mark.
Remember, that'll get all scrambled up in just a few laps because they'll be making pit stops. Of course, this was after 42 laps.
And we understand they're going to put an extra person over the wall, Ned, to help clean off those windshields today. They say they're picking up a lot of debris.
Well, Jimmy Hensley blew an engine early down there, so they had to put some quick dry on the track, and you pick that up a little bit of oil along with it, and so those windshields will get pitted in a hurry.
Boy, I tell you, that is a speed shot right there coming off that corner. Kyle Petty, we see him right here. He was able to get around not only Jeff Gordon, but also Ernie Irvin. They moved him up in 4th place.
Neil, does it wear on you when you're running this tight together for this long?
No, I tell you what, I think the drivers have been getting ready for this race so long. I think I saw them all as relaxed as ever. They're not going to have any media or anybody get in there and ask them questions. They're doing what they want to do. They're racing and they're having fun.
Hendrick cars are running currently with Schrader 2nd, Gordon 5th, Rudd 14th, and Al Unser Jr. back in 19th position. There are your top 3.
Well, of course, we have 2 cars out of the race. Jimmy Hensley and Dick Trickle, the other 39, are still in the lead lap. There have been no lapping going on.
A lot of this talks to the new kind of preparation they're making on these motors, Ned.
On the motors and the cars, the templates that they've used this year, and making every one of them so every car the body on has to conform precisely to its original body specifications, and it has is ready to tighten the field up. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Talking a little race strategy here in the Ken Schrader pit. In midgets, sprint cars, dirt champ cars, he's a run to the front kind of driver. And today out there with Dale Earnhardt, Ken House Schrader has been a run to the front kind of guy. What do you think?
Well, we're trying to figure out now. We're not that experienced running up there right now, so we're just a little tense. And, it's a long day yet, though. So
right next to you, here's Paul Andrews, Alan Kulwicki's crew chief. What could he possibly want?
Well, we're all trying to figure out when we're going to pit. You really want to try and pit with some good cars and not get left out on the racetrack on your own. And so everybody works with each other at this part of the race anyway.
It's early.
Right.
That's the key line. It's early.
Yeah, and what he's talking about when we're going to pit. They want to pit with the car that they're running with and hope that they make equal pit stops so when they go back out on the racetrack that they'll pick each other up and have a drafting partner.
Jeff Bodine, 10th position. Holding right on to Mark Martin in 9th. You see Hillen just up in front of him in 8th.
In the 125 milers early in the week, we saw that this car right here, if Jeff Bodine had the ability to run high all day and run exceptionally fast, he's trying to highline, looking around Mark Martin in every corner.
Now, the 125 milers is 50 laps. We're coming up on the 50th lap. They're running the 50th lap right now. So they'll be pitting in the next lap or two because they can make it. If they can go this distance every time, they can make it on only 3 pit stops.
I wouldn't be surprised to see the leader turn down on the green and see almost the entire field come in.
Yeah,
just
like
as though it was a caution.
That's right. I can see it.
Pit road speed will be 70 miles an hour. Schrader, Kulwicki, Earnhardt, and Kyle Petty.
Kyle Petty might be coming in. Is he slowing down? All of them are coming in. Here they come.
Folks, it's not going to be a caution. It's just going to be the field leave the racetrack, it looks like. Look at the cars coming in.
Jumping up in front to take the lead will be Bodine into first, Martin into second, Dale Jarrett to third, Ricky Rudd to fourth, Wilson to fifth, as the front of the field slides in here.
This is probably going to work out perfect. I bet you this bunch gets service, gets off pit road. The other entire group will probably have to come in.
Average speed to this moment, 161 miles an hour. Here's David Haas.
Miller taking on fluid, so's his car. They're going to do a 4-tire stop here. They've changed the right side tires now. They're not doing anything to the car. Only 2 tires have changed. As Miller gets out, Mike Joy.
Quick stop for Alan Kulwicki. He took only right side tires on. Ken Schrader's away. Earnhardt only got 2. Ernie Irvin getting his pit service completed, and a tire, I believe that's off Kulwicki's car, is rolled out onto pit road. It's either Kulwicki's or Schrader's. We'll see how the NASCAR officials view that.
Second half of the field is now coming on pit road, led by the number 15 of Bodine, who put a Ford up on the wall for the first time as a leader. Look at the suspension on Bodine as he comes into a halt.
Here's the new suspension cam. Watch him jack this thing up and snag. Look at the brake dust coming off that thing where it came down pit road. They threw it off, throw a new tire on this deal. The brake rotors were completely hot when he came in, and just dust flying everywhere. They'll drop the car down, run around the other side. The reason they're waiting 2 tires, the signal for the driver to leave is when the jack hits the ground. That's the reason the jack man waits, even though the tires were on. Here he is coming up to speed, running around the flat part of the racetrack, getting it back up to speed. There we go. We saw him shift at 7,800. He's in 3rd gear. He'll wind it up about 77, 78, and make the next shift. He's in 3rd gear. Look how long it takes with these big gears to wind this car up. It takes a lap and a half to get back shifted at a little over 7,000.
Mike Joy.
Ricky Rudd's car will not move. He got it into gear. It wouldn't go anywhere. Now Davey Allison's pulled into his pit, 1 pit behind him. So we'll get chased out of the way as they try to get Rudd behind the wall and give Allison room to get out of the pit. But Ricky fired it up. He started to take off, and I believe he may have torn something in the drive line out of the car. They're still checking.
Boy, that is a tough break to get caught up in the pits that way.
Boy, for it to happen like that, it's got to be a transmission or a drive shaft or something. Just rip the gear out when they drop the jack. Look at Allison getting up to speed coming out of the pits, and we see everybody already got that momentum just flying by him until he gets up to speed himself.
In the midst of all those pit stops, Rick Wilson took the lead for 1 lap. Wilson put the STP car up in front, got himself 5 bonus points.
And of course, he came in the next lap. And I believe the leader of the race right now is the car number, well, we thought it was 27 of Hut Strickland. Let's go to the pits. We'll get all this ciphered out. Mike?
They're jacking up the right side of the car for Ricky Rudd. Ricky, do you have any idea what it is?
Well, Mike, it broke the rear end or something leaving the pits. I don't know if it broke the yoke off the rear gear.
Tough break.
Couldn't be worse for Ricky Rudd. You would wish that Ricky Rudd would finally get one going. This is 16th 500, and it just doesn't work for the Chesapeake, Virginia driver. Best finish was third.
Now here's the leader of the race. It is Derek Cope, and Cale Yarborough is number 66. Hut Strickland did lead for a lap, then he came in. Now this car made a pit stop during the last caution, so he has enough fuel to go another probably 10 laps or so, Neil.
Yeah, he pitted, they said, on lap 13, so that gives him that 10 to 12 lap cushion. He can ride for a while. If a caution comes out, he's in the driver's seat.
Lake Speed pulling up on him in the 83. Just in front is Sterling Marlowe. Derek Cope in the 66. First complete pit stop under green. Brilliant work down there. Here's Horton in the number 32 on pit road. Ridgely out of New Jersey. Great short track and dirt track driver. Trying the Winston Cup and looking good here.
We saw the 22 car of Bobby Labonte pulling in the pits here. Bobby cut right across as he came in, coming in for tires. Looks like they're going 2 tires strictly because of the time involved. They can't afford to put 4 on and get behind.
Bobby Labonte had carried those colors up to second spot before he was forced to pit. And there's Ricky Rudd. Big trouble there.
What's so daring about Prism car polish? It's not how you put it on, but how you take it off.
Prism Car Polish, the first and only spray-away approach to car polishing. Just wipe it on and spray it off. And in half the time, you get a durable shine. No huffing, no puffing, no buffing. Prism, the spray-away car polish.
A kiss? No, I'm sorry. I don't think so.
Oh, no, please, no, baby, no.
Oh, not a good idea. Not now.
No, bad time.
Fight morning breath with Scope. Scope has 2 powerful ingredients that kill 90% of the bacteria that cause morning breath.
Your kiss is ready. Pucker up.
Right on the kisser.
Come on.
Kiss morning breath goodbye with Scope.
Give me that kiss.
With Minwax polyurethane, you can do more than admire your wood. You can live with it, too, because Minwax contains pure urethane oil to protect wood while giving it beauty you can really live with. Minwax keeps wood beautiful.
What do you smell?
I can't smell anything. My nose is clogged, yeah.
For fast relief, try Dristan 12-hour nasal spray. Now smell.
It's an orange. Dristan nasal spray just works incredibly fast.
Dristan, the face of relief today.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
Yeah, well, I'm a sensitive guy, so I tried it.
Big man.
It was good.
It was great.
The new Bic Twin Select. Normal, sensitive.
It really blew me away.
You made a big man out of me.
The history of a nation reflected in the story of a single family.
I love you with all my heart.
Alex Haley's Queen begins tonight.
After 57 of 200 laps, Derek Cope has the advantage. Darrell Waltrip in second, Jimmy Sauter, Kenny Wallace, Harry Gant. Remember, they're out of sync with the rest of the field because they came in on that pit stop when the Jimmy Means car crashed. Top runners stayed out. There you see Kowicki. Now there's the first of the strong runners that have been up front all day. Looking back, you see in 15th position Dave Marcus in the number 71, who has come from 41st position. Now here is the 66 car that is leading. This is Derek Cope, the big surprise winner back in 1990, driving for Cale Yarborough. And there is a 5-second interval on the track to where Darrell Waltrip is running
Here's Waltrip running in the second position, and he's been off his feet today. Behind him is Kenny Wallace in the number 40, followed by Gant. Jimmy Sauter was up in that group. He has just pitted. It's the first race that Cope has led since back in 1990 at Atlanta. He's looking pretty stout right now. They tore up a car here earlier this week.
Yeah, they had a little bit of trouble with the car, but they got this one here, but well, not better. But this guy's with that out of sync deal. We just saw the big pack a while ago with Kowicki and those guys. After we have the shakeout here on when the 66 car's got to pit in the next 5 or 6 laps, then it'll shuffle right back to the other people that were leading.
Now you see Kowicki, Alan Kowicki, who is back in this field big with Dale Earnhardt right behind him in the 5th and 6th position. And Mark Martin is there. He'll be in 7th. That would put...
And the Ford, if he stays up there, the Ford fans are going to have something to cheer about. There's been a lot said down here in the last 10 days about Ford Chevrolet. Chevrolet sort of won everything that's been going, but the Ford drivers certainly haven't given up. And Kowicki, as I mentioned earlier, was very, very strong in practice here yesterday afternoon. So no big surprise that he's leading that pack of cars that have pitted. Here's Darrell Waltrip now making his pit stop.
Waltrip drops off. That leaves Cope in front. It moves Kenny Wallace to 2nd spot.
Back against Jeff Bodine, almost loses the position to Bobby Hillin. Here come the cars back off turn number 4, while Darrell Waltrip, who did...
The '89 champion tried 17 years to win this race before it finally came home. Now there you see the number 40. That's young Kenny Wallace, Rusty Wallace's kid brother. Used to be a crew member for Rusty Wallace. Out here driving a second Felix Savetta's car, a team car, to the Kyle Petty machine.
And one of those top rookie drivers for 1993 in NASCAR Winston Cup racing.
Looks like he's dropping to the inside to come in this lap. He stretched it as long as he can. He's coming in.
So Waltrip is pulled in. Now Wallace is pulled in. That leaves Cope and Gant running 1 and 2. Let's go to David Hobbs.
Well, the pits down here is ready for Derek Cope, the current race leader, to come in, all sitting on the wall there. 2 tires ready. Windshield cleaner, fuel, oil, help for the driver. A lot of excitement down here. The Bob Johnson-led crew waiting for Derek Cope. They had a very unfortunate run in the 125-mile qualifying heat back in Thursday. Mike Joy's got something for us.
Now, all of these are cars that stopped under that early caution flag. Darrell Waltrip's stop was a scheduled one. You saw them take one round to bite out of the left rear on Kenny Wallace's car there as they made the tire change and filled him up.
19 seconds and he was out, and here comes the leader, Cope, on pit road. Kenny Wallace was in 3rd when he made that pit stop. Gant was still part of the package as well and still is out there. Cope is in. Will give Gant the lead momentarily in number 33. Bob Johnson.
They took a round to bite out of the right rear of that car. Looked like they're having a little trouble getting the fuel in it.
Dale Yarborough team away in 21 seconds.
While this was going on, Harry Gant came around, and it actually put Gant in the lead. He hadn't pitted either.
And Dale Earnhardt has just moved around Alan Kowicki, taking Kyle Petty with him.
And taking Hillen, too. So that's 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with Gant staying on the track. And Mr. Long Range, Harry Gant, continues to run that tank bone dry.
Well, I tell you one thing that happened with that pass just then. When Earnhardt passed Kowicki, all they needed was probably one more lap, and all these other guys would have pitted, and Kowicki would have led a lap. He just won the championship. Those points are important, but he got shuffled back. Now, if those other guys pit, he's going to try to retake the lead to get those extra points.
Average speed at 165 miles an hour. Green flag pit stops. Field is running 15 seconds down from Gant, and he'll have to pit shortly. That'll bring it right back to Earnhardt, Petty, Hillen, Kowicki, and Martin. Now there's Harry Gant. Out there solo at the present time, nobody to draft with. Gets those 5 bonus points that could be critical when you think about Alan Kowicki winning the Winston Cup Championship in the last race of the year. Never led the point standings until that last race.
And Harry Gant was always right there, too. He was one of the 6 drivers that went into the last race that had a shot at winning the championship. One of the most consistent drivers out there and taking advantage of every opportunity to get those 5 bonus points.
just as we were talking again, look at Kawicki here. He was in the lead, and he fell back a little bit. I thought they passed him, but I believe he's got a problem because he's falling way, way back. It looks like Alan Kawicki had trouble while he was leading the race. He's slowing way down.
Alan Kawicki with that Ford, number 7, Winston Cup champion. We can show you in feet what that difference between first and second spot between that pack is.
Here comes the big shuffle again. We've got Kyle Petty up there racing with Earnhardt on the high side. He might have the ability to go around him up there.
There's Bobby Hillen right down in there in the midst of it. That's all for second. Gant stays out in front. Back to that battle for second place. Hillen on the inside. Donlevy car. This would be something if Junie Donlevy pulls this one off with Bobby Hillen.
His cars always run well here, and Bobby Hillen has had some awfully good runs in other people's cars.
Watch this interval. That's 15 seconds, and that's how it translates to feet as you look down that back straightaway. About 3,000-foot back straightaway, and that's the advantage that Gant is showing to the rest of the field. Earnhardt in second. And now Gant's going to pit.
And here is the lead car.
As the lead car pulls on pit road, that creates a battle, not for second, but for the lead, putting Earnhardt and Petty and Hillen all in it big time. David Hobbs.
Harry Gant's into the pits, and they're putting some weight into the left rear, just about a turn and a half as they gas it up, clean the windshield off. You've already said that this afternoon the windshield's taking a bit of pasting. That looks like a pretty quick stop. The last can of gas just going in. The guy, there goes, and away. Oh, couldn't quite relieve the extra bottle there. He just couldn't quite get the escape gas can off. Good stop there. Put a little bit of weight into the left rear of Harry Gant's leading car.
When David says that they put a round and a half, they mean they put a round and a half of bite. There's a big jack screw, a big screw type device on top of the spring. You turn it one way and it actually tightens the car up. You turn it the other way and the thing will loosen the car up. And the driver will say, give me a round or give me a round and a half. So we'll refer to one round being a little bit of bite, 2 rounds a good bit. So that's just speaking of raising it, lowering that car, tightening that car up.
Well, here you see Bobby Hillen pressing into second spot. His best finish in the Daytona 500 was 4th. Donlevy has been here forever. Everybody has driven for Junie Donlevy, but he's only won one Winston Cup race. That with Jody Ridley years ago at Dover in '81.
Ken, we have 8 cars in this lead pack, but look at this second pack being led by Ernie Urban. About 7 laps ago, he and Dale Jarrett were over 5 seconds behind this front group of traffic. They have locked up together in a draft and have run them down.
Jarrett running back in the 10th spot, and Morgan Shepherd now in 11th, the number 21. Morgan, who had that great second place run in the 500 a year back.
One reason they're able to close, they're certainly fast cars, but look at the little bit of shuffling up there in the front. We're seeing almost one guy high, one low. Here we are with guys side by side. Boy, that'll really enable Irvin and Jarrett to close in on them now.
That rookie, Jeff Gordon, is back in 14th position. Gordon is now running in 14th. There's Kyle Petty in the 42 car, set on the pole if you're just joining us. Getting himself squared away here to make another run to up toward the front. Currently in that 3rd spot, and here comes the number 30 car. Michael Waltrip's having a great day. Mark Martin right there with him as well. We'll be back with more from Daytona in a moment.
Here at Daytona. And he's been on the big jump this evening.
King of beers. Introducing something very, very fast. It can take you from 0 to 3,500. The new Ford Citibank Visa card. You get the security of a Citibank Visa, and 5% of everything you purchase goes towards a new Ford or Lincoln or Mercury. You could earn a rebate of up to $3,500 2 years faster than any other basic auto rebate card. The new Ford Citibank Visa. Now this is a better idea.
Pennzoil. At home in America. Charlotte, North Carolina. NASCAR, USA. This is where they build race cars and the engines that power them. And those engines, they don't come cheap. So what motor oil goes in this race car? The same Pennzoil quality motor oil that goes in your car. That's the one. Pennzoil. Performance, protection, quality.
There was a great chaos and confusion. The established order had indeed been challenged. That challenge was answered the day one company leapt a technological barrier with the first digital fiber optic network nationwide and the most modern signaling equipment. If you were to build the perfect 800 service, you'd do exactly what AT&T has done. Follow Sprint.
A shot came through a window. This homeowner got his gun. This boy is dead. Who was guilty in the fatal encounter? 48 hours Wednesday.
Continuing a 68-year tradition of appearances at major American sporting events, overhead today is the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. And here in the Great American Race, it's as good as we had predicted. Who would have believed the kind of competition we've seen? 18 lead changes among 11 drivers. Now, when we left you to go to commercial, Bobby Hillen had planked that number 90 out in front. And just as quickly, he's come back to third spot. Bobby Hillen, who has just that one win that you saw on CBS at Talladega back in 1986 when he was 22 years of age. Hillen's looking very good for Don Livy today. Junie's had all the great drivers in those cars over the year. Neil Bonnet drove for him, Leroy, Cale, Pearson, Isaac, Baker, Joe Weatherly, Tiny Lund, all at one time or another, drove for this great team from Virginia that currently is in third spot. It's Earnhardt first. Schrader's in second. And Schrader's taking a really high line around this racetrack.
He's running a lot different line. Earnhardt seems to be content to go to the bottom, and Schrader really swings up high in the middle of the corner.
Evidently, his car is a little bit tight, just simply works better on the high side of the racetrack. Earnhardt normally runs his car a little bit loose. He likes the bottom of the racetrack, although he's going up there high this time. Someone must have told him, his spotter maybe said, hey, you ought to try that high side. There might be some dry pavement up there. And when I say dry pavement, they get a little bit of grease and water and oil in the regular groove. And if you can get two of those outside wheels up in an area where others haven't been, you normally get better traction and run faster.
Here's Ricky Rudd way off the pace, up 22 laps down. 22 laps down, but out here as the Hendrick team still tries to score some points. Now look up here, that yellow car in fourth, Michael Waltrip. Right behind him, Kyle Petty. And then you see Jeff Bodine with his Ford riding in sixth. Mark Martin having a great day in seventh. Bill Elliott is in eighth. Dale Jarrett in ninth. So those Fords at the present time are deployed 6th, 7th, 8th on the field. Jarrett back in 9th and Morgan Shepherd in 10th position.
Boy, that high line we saw Schrader run, he really makes a run off of that corner. Here we're on Jeff Bodine's car following Kyle Petty up on the inside of Michael Waltrip. They're working with him.
Bodine.
Big freight train going down in this corner. Look at the cars bumping around in the middle of this corner, just dancing around. The guys aren't moving the wheel. The things are just jumping around like that.
And you notice, Neil, we didn't hear them decelerate going into the turn. That's a little bit different from when they dyno these engines in a shop.
If you'll listen to this motor right here, you'll go to one of these engine shops. They've even built them for me, and I'll go up there. They'll dyno them for about 10 or 15 seconds and shut her down real quick. Listen to the motor in this thing.
Jeff Bodine getting a little bit of a signal to someone behind him.
It's like the old Delbert McClinton song. Wide open, don't hold back. That's the only way to win. They give you a heart attack.
That's the best dyno in the world. Hold that thing open, you get 100 gas. I mean, you get enough gas to run 125 miles, and you hold it on the floor. I used to tell them at the shop, hey, turn that thing over an hour and see if it'll stay together.
Bet those floorboards are getting warm out there, Neil.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, when you hold them wide open, just like we just saw the cars in turn. Here's Schrader making a pass for the lead.
To Mike Joy.
Ken, I'm inside Alan Kowicki's pit. His car is running on 7 cylinders. They'll replace the spark plug wires and the cap. He's already switched ignition systems. And if time permits, they'll put a set of spark plugs in it. But usually when this happens, the problem is more serious. It's inside the engine and unrepairable on pit road.
Indeed, Michael. Back to you, Neil. Just how hot is it getting out there in those boiler rooms?
Let me tell you what, when you hold that throttle open this long, these cars have stainless steel headers, and they will actually turn cherry red. If it were nighttime, you would see them glowing right now. The headers are extremely hot, 2,200 degrees exhaust temperature. It'll cook the floorboard, burn all the paint off. They've even got tiles from the space shuttle now. They're trying that in the floorboard of these cars to keep from burning these drivers up.
But it will still char your heel bone black.
Yeah, I've had some third-degree burns.
The fire.
A lot of third-degree burns from doing this, but at this racetrack, you better be willing to lay it on the floor and leave it down there.
After 77 laps, take a look at the leaderboard here. Earnhardt, Schrader, Hillen, Kyle Petty, Bodine. Sport is in transition for sure, isn't it, as you look at this leaderboard, Ned?
It sure is. Kyle Petty has dropped back. Of course, Ken Schrader's taken the lead since this came up. But, well, I'll tell you, there's just so many drivers that have the cars and the teams that can make them run up front.
Jimmy Spencer back there in 15th. Wally Dallenbach now back in 20th. Rick Mass just in front of him. Here's Lake Speed, had a great run back there a few years ago. Alan Kowicki has fallen to 25th now. Good day for him. Joe Ruttman, who's had some pretty exciting runs here, shows in 26th position. And Waltrip, not happy about that one. Go back through the field. This as of 77 laps.
And there are still 36 cars in the lead lap. Kenny Wallace is the last car on the lead lap, and the first car out of this, or second car out of this race skin was Jimmy Hensley. We saw him blow an engine, and he's right down there now with Chris Economy.
I'm sitting here with Jimmy Hensley. You hear me, Jimmy?
Yeah, I hear you pretty good.
Why are you here? Why not you out on the track?
Well, we had a little problem. I think we couldn't have left rear tire down. We thought the motor, everybody thought the motor blew because a lot of smoke, but I think it left rear tire cut down and caused a spin going in turn 1. You know, got the wall pretty hard. I hate it for Jimmy Means. You know, he got hurt Wednesday in practice, and he gave me an opportunity to drive his car, and I hate it for now for auto parts in the first race, but you know, we was hanging on to the lead draft, you know, just running pretty decent. But
Jimmy, we've seen cars hit the wall 100 times. What is it like in the cockpit when one of those things backs into the wall and comes to a sudden stop on the part of the driver?
It's a pretty good joke. You know, like falling off a 2-story building on your back or something. It's a pretty hard hit. But, you know, fortunately, I didn't get hurt. You know, I got hurt here last year, but this particular time, you know, everything's intact and just bruised up a little, but I'm fine.
Now, you've been watching the race today. How do you think it's going? You got any ideas on who might wind up winners?
I tell you, the lead draft looked like that black car's still running pretty good. He's won about everything down here this week. He's going to be pretty tough, I think, today.
Thank you for coming by, Jimmy Hensley. Better luck next time. And now, back topside to Ken Squire.
Take a look a moment ago at Earnhardt having a little bit of a problem here, and only a master would have made this save.
Again, this is the first time all week I've seen this car slip. Look at the back end jumping around on this race car. That's the first time since we've been here we've seen a loose condition or whatever caused it on that car. He had his hands full. Hillen took the lead, but here he comes right back.
Well, he doesn't want to stay down there long. And Neil, you wonder, you know, most of them only change the right side tire during their pit stop, and those left side tires take a pretty good beating here on this racetrack. They really put them to work, and you wonder if maybe they're getting a little hot and worn now, and that's causing the cars to slip around.
Ned, that's a good possibility. When we talk about these spoilers driving these cars down in the ground, they might get a little bit more tire wear than anticipated. So I think you'll see them going maybe 4, surely lefts when the next stop.
The man on the move, however, is Bobby Hillen, driving like a man possessed. And indeed he is. For this morning, he had a Valentine's car from a brand new 2-week-old son, Luke. Big day for Bobby Hillen. Luke's back watching him right now, North Carolina, Mother Kim, and hoping this is going to turn their way for the Donlevy team. We'll be back with more live exclusive coverage of the Daytona 500 on CBS Sports after this message and a word from your local station.
He's back.
This time we get it.
STP gas treatment cleans intake valves and fuel injectors to help engines run better. STP, the edge.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime. For relief without alcohol, hit the box, not the bottle.
No, President Clinton is not on 60 Minutes tonight, but we hope he'll be in the audience. Lester Thoreau has the best explanation yet of what's wrong with us.
When an ill wind blows through Sicily, the strangest, the most incredible things are gonna happen. Tuesday morning, everyone's gonna be talking about what happened on Northern Exposure.
You're blushing.
I can't help it. Make sure you're one of them. Northern Exposure Monday.
This is CBS.
Hey, I like to save money as much as the next guy. But what are the odds that there's going to be a sale on the parts you need when your car breaks down? Hey, it's not going to happen. That's why I go to AutoZone. I mean, sure, you could wait around for a couple weeks and maybe beat their price by a few pennies someplace else. But I don't want to wait for a sale when I need a part. Now, what more could you ask for?
Hey, Davey, I don't suppose I could pick up one of those Thunderbirds at my best quality Ford dealer.
Maybe if you had a spare $100,000.
Don't think I could afford the payments.
Well, then how about this Thunderbird, the new LX?
Now that's more like it.
And it costs you $16,292.
Great. Plus, it looks a whole lot more comfortable.
Believe me, it is, and it's a whole lot better equipped.
The new $16,292 Thunderbird LX at your best quality Ford dealer.
Hey, at that price, these birds will go faster than that one.
Chris Field on Eyewitness News at 11.
The Daytona 500 by STP is sponsored by the First Brands Corporation, makers of STP, Prestone, and Simonize. Craftsman, a line of over 1,600 hand tools, made in America, guaranteed for life. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
Take a look at these leaders. Earnhardt, Hillen, Bodine, Schrader, Michael Waltrip in the top 5 after 83 laps have been completed. And further back, Elliott, Kyle Petty, Jarrett, Morgan Shepherd, Ernie Irvan. How good a race is it? Consider this. We're not halfway. And there have been 22 lead changes. A year ago, 15 lead changes in the entire race. Here you see the rookie, Jeff Gordon, who had such an outstanding run and led in that very first lap. And now that car seems to be falling away. He's back in 19th position at the present time.
I don't think he's having a problem with the car. It was a pit stop. When he pitted, they were in contention, and I don't think they really got it back up out quick enough.
Well, he ran with Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvan in a draft, trying to catch the leaders for a little bit, Neil, but then the car appeared to get loose, and he eventually lost the draft, and now he's just running out there by himself and totally away from everybody else, and that really hurts.
Earnhardt stays in front, and look at Bodine dive to the bottom of the track, the 86 500 champion. He's coming.
In the 125s, Bodine was the man that could put the heat on Earnhardt. He's been one of the guys we felt like could race with him.
And Earnhardt also said after the race that his car felt better, more stable with Bodine following him than anyone else that followed him that day. So I'm sure he was happy to see Bodine pull up there, not beside of him. He'd like to see him pull up there and run along behind him.
That's what's unique about these cars. Everybody wants a Chevrolet to follow Chevrolet in the manufacturers. Ford follow Ford. But that driver, through the seat of his pants, can tell what is the best car to have behind him. He'll get him a good buddy, and they'll work together on this.
Kyle Petty is back in 5th. Schrader falls to 4th. Bobby Hillen 3rd. Schrader getting back in this mix.
2 other cars have gone a lap down. Now we have 34 cars in the lead lap. Kenny Wallace and Chad Little were just lapped a few laps ago. But still, a lot of cars in the lead lap as we approach the halfway mark.
34 cars as we come to halfway in the top lap. That's quite a story. Here's David Hobbs.
Well, I'm down in Junie Dunleavy, Bobby Hillen's owner. Junie, you're having a pretty good run today. You're having a pretty good run today.
Oh, we're having a good time. High Lake Myers has put quite a bit of life into our team, and everything's looking real good.
You've had some interesting drivers over the career. This looks like one of your best choices.
Bobby is first class. We came down and tested with him. He ran quick, and he's running pretty good today.
Fords look good today.
If they get hooked up, they may be able to do something at the end of the race.
Well, there you have it. Junior Dunleavy from Richmond, Virginia, now down to Mike Joy.
David, let's mention first Kenny Wallace, the rookie, has broken a valve spring heat on 7-cylinder. Fuel mileage is very important. After a stop, the teams will weigh what gas is left in this can, calculate how much fuel was used, and when they'll have to stop again. They used to put this thing on a bathroom scale, but no more. They suspend it from this hook. An electronic transducer makes the reading. It goes up this wire to where nobody knows, only the race team, into a computer.
13th place, Ernie Irvin. 1991 500 champion on pit road. Went only 40 laps that time.
That compared with 50 laps the first time, Ken, but I tell you, he was beginning to slip back in the field a little bit. I expect those left side tires were really getting worn on him. They are changing all 4 tires on the car this time.
STP Race Cam giving us these pictures, and it's in 20 and 6/10 seconds that Ernie Irvin leaves the pits and gets back into the 35th Daytona 500.
Ned, it looks like you read that earlier. The tires have got to be giving them a little bit of trouble for them to make that quicker call.
What a great shot as they're coming to speed. You saw him stay below the white line there, Ned, and as he came out, began to blend in. That field just rolling down by him.
That shows you just how fast they are going. Now, he is a lap down now. Of course, others will have to pit within the next 10 laps if they got them full of fuel, and I expect most of them did, so most of them will expect to go to about the 100-lap mark, which would be halfway on this race.
When you have to make a move like this, the only thing you're hoping to say, man, let this thing go green for a while. But I tell you what's so frustrating about this thing, Ned, is you see those guys going by, you're going up through the gears, shifting, winding that motor hard as it'll go, and they're just driving by you like you're sitting still. And like I said, it takes over a lap to get them back up to full speed again.
They're saying he caught a tire. That's what brought him in.
Yeah, the car was getting looser and looser, so that he did have to come in earlier than he expected to.
Ernie Irvin.
A lot of race car drivers, if they have a flat or anything happens to that tire, they just say, I cut a tire. It's hard to get a real read on what happens. They might be worn out.
Now, are you surprised? We've only had 2 cautions, one for an engine if you're just joining us on Dick Trickle's car, and then Hensley crashed. This has been incident-free and such tight competition, Ned.
Still 33 cars in the lead lap. I'll tell you, that's amazing.
Gun protectant. Nothing works better on your car's leather, vinyl, and rubber. It can turn just about anything into a great-looking car.
Nice car. What, this pile of junk?
Give it the gun with Son of a Gun. And now give your tires a quick kick with one-step tire care.
My father was in the garage business, and his father was in the garage business. Well, my father was my mechanic all my life. I've got some old Craftsman tools that are still around, which I love and I treasure. My grandfather and also my father's tools, which nobody could ever buy.
1,600 Craftsman hand tools, made in America, guaranteed forever.
He really believed in Craftsman, same as I do.
Only at Sears.
This is where America gets together. Every weekend throughout America, there is great NASCAR racing.
I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Nice to have you over here in the States.
The incredible thing is the different concept on ovals.
It's unbelievable.
Some people just can't get it right.
4 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
You boys ever seen flat-out corners?
Sounds rather thrilling.
Well, it is if you win.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf.
I'm wide open all the time.
The only way to do it.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Why do you go anti-clockwise?
You're in a foreign country, boy.
Getting down to halfway in the 35th running of the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. This is the battle for the lead at halfway. Five laps away this time by. Kyle Petty ducks to the inside.
Amazing, that car. Remember, it's set on the pole when the day started. Earnhart's right beside him. Dale Jarrett's moving back into it another time. He's in 10th. Brett Bodine is up to 9th. And Brett Bodine is just clawing his way through this field. He is flying down to the bottom and picking up positions now.
Yeah, the car is really working down on the inside.
He's up to 7th. And he's still closing ground. Green and white, number 26. The Kenny Bernstein car on the bottom of the racetrack. Flying through traffic. Pulls up beside Hillen. Looks like Bodine at halfway wants to be up among the leaders. His car owner, Kenny Bernstein, 3-time World Drag Racing champion, walked away a miracle yesterday from a 300-mile-an-hour crash at Pomona. Mike Joy has more on that story.
Kenny was in the finals last night of the season opener of Pomona against Joe Amato, and as the car got 2/3 down the track, they had a blower explosion. The engine exploded, and the car virtually disintegrated. When Kenny stopped moving, he and the backrest of his seat were sitting alone on the racetrack. The rest of the car was in very small pieces. He was to fly here to watch his car run in the Daytona 500 today, but he's still back in California resting, but he is okay. It was a very tough, grinding crash for Kenny.
One of the most respected, I think, beloved racers ever in drag racing, Kenny Bernstein. And he is a guy that they like down here in Winston Cup racing a ton. Bernstein's car down to the bottom of the racetrack, running right there with the Don Levy car. Meanwhile, up in front, look at this one. Here's Kyle Petty taking the low side. On the high side, Earnhardt. And right behind them comes Jeff Bodine.
Ned, I saw you look over at me when Kyle Petty made that pass. Usually you have to creep up there and creep on by. Kyle Petty drove by Earnhardt like he was tied to a tree when he took the lead just a minute ago.
That car also is working well down on the inside, as is Brett Bodine's car. He just has a good setup for the bottom side of the racetrack right now on those worn tires, and it's working really good for him. You know, a lot of times we have a big halfway bonus, and maybe that's why he decided to get up there. We're coming close to the halfway point of this race.
There's a bit of smoke coming off Bill Elliott's number 11 with the Junior Johnson team as we check the lap time here, Ned.
They're coming up. Kyle Petty is about to put a lap on Alan Kowicki, who is having problems. Kowicki is in 33rd place. There you see the 33rd place going a lap down. Of course, he has lost a cylinder running on 7 cylinders.
Top 3 cover the line. 48.6.
Yeah, the speed has slowed down considerably, and that's because of the worn tires. The left side tires have been on there since they started this race. They've gone a half a race with them. That's what they wanted to do, especially if they run under green flag conditions, be able to run at least half of the race on left side tires, change the right side every time.
Elliott on pit road. Bill Elliott brings number 11 in.
And some smoke coming out the exhaust pipe on that car.
Yeah, he's got a problem there with that right side engine. Looks like he's dropped a cylinder.
Dropped a cylinder.
A valve or something, but they've got a problem on that right bank.
2-time winner of the 500 in 85 and 87. Last man to win it from the pole. They're pulling the pins.
Going under the hood. Well, this is a tough break for Bill Elliott.
And you saw Horton, number 32, getting back in it again.
Halfway right there. There was a race to the line. It was hard to tell who led it. It looked like maybe Earnhardt and Kyle Petty was almost a draw. That was the halfway mark.
Think you want to split the money? Here's David Hobbs.
Johnson himself trying to cool this engine down with the water hose, but it seems to be blowing oil back badly. It must have blown a piston, or at least the rings. There's oil all under the engine cover there. The mechanics are looking there. They can see the oil on the hood of the car above Mike Beam's head there. It's obviously blown off the filler cap on the left-hand bank of the engine there. They don't seem to be looking too excited about it. I think they're going to wheel it away. This is the second time this week that this car has suffered from severe oiling problems. We were told the other day they were using an experimental oil system, although we all thought perhaps I'd left a cover off.
Pit stops coming up. Front of the field coming in. Earnhardt coming in. And everyone's going to make it in this time. Let's see who's going to grab the lead as they come by. I think it'll be Kenny Wallace going back out in front.
No, he went left down a little bit ago, so it couldn't be him.
28 will take it. Davey Allison will be the leader now. We have some 20 cars on pit road.
Is that the first time Allison has led today? He'll get 5 bonus points.
Here's Mike Joy.
Dale Earnhardt getting right side tires. This will be a 4-tire stop. Just past him, Mark Martin is getting also 4 tires. Right behind, Jeff Gordon has brought his car into the pits. Sideways pit entry here, and he will get just right side tires. Second can of gas up and going in. A little early. barely getting that first can out. They may not get quite a full load of fuel for Gordon here. A little trouble pulling the fender away on the right front. He ran over a little piece of debris there with that spoiler. They've got him down and away. Not a terribly quick stop, but it shouldn't hurt him too badly.
They were working on the car, putting tape on the thing. They were trying to work on the car. Evidently, it's a little pushy or something. They were changing some stuff. We really couldn't get a good. I couldn't really see exactly what happened, but they were working on the front of the car.
Davey Allison became the 12th different leader in the 500, now on pit road. Number 27 now takes over in first place, Hut Strickland. In the second Junior Johnson car. This was a Sterling Marlin ride with different colors a year back. Hut Strickland out of Alabama, now driving for Junior and leading in the 500. Here's Mike Joy.
Ken, Davey Allison got 4 tires as well. Jeff Gordon had complained his car was handling badly in the draft. It had developed a bad push. That's what we've seen all week when cars run a long number of laps under green. So they tried to loosen his car up a bit. Most all the tire temperatures I've been seeing are about the 165 to 180 degree mark. No real problem as far as that's concerned.
Thank you, Mike. And there you see plumes of smoke coming out of the Elliott car. She's been on pit road a considerable amount of time, over 3 minutes now, Ned.
And, of course, that has taken away any chance he'd have of winning this Daytona 500.
Boy, that thing is so hot. They had the radiator cap off. It's so hot he won't even take water in. Let's go down to David Hobbs.
They got a big problem there. They tried to fill it up. They got smoke pouring out both exhaust pipes. We thought at one stage that one of the cylinder head gaskets had gone. Well, obviously it's not that. It's something throughout the whole engine. They tried to put more water in, but you know what it's like when you take the cap off. You just cannot get the stuff in there. So they're dejectedly pushing the car away. Bad start for the Bill Elliott 1993 season.
Over 4 minutes and going behind the wall. Bill Elliott.
They jokingly named that car the Valdez the other day after the oil down.
Oil spill?
Man, I tell you, it looks like they're having problems right off the bat.
Apparently it was overfilled with oil in that Busch Clash, and it cost them. Today, something else goes amiss. New crew chief Mike Beam having a lot of headaches starting the year.
If it were just to win more championship trophies, we wouldn't be here. If it were just to show the world Ford has the fastest cars, we'd just stay home. But there's a whole side to Ford racing that never gets covered on your sports page. It's learning how to make your car safer by racing 200 miles an hour in heavy traffic. It's a proving ground for advances like telemetry, a new computerized way to monitor an engine without even lifting the hood. And it's a chance to see how a granite roller coaster can make your truck even tougher. At Ford, racing lets us go as hard, as fast, and as far as we want. Because when it comes to developing technology for the Ford you can drive, there shouldn't be any limits. That's why we race. Of course, we're not about to give back all our trophies. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Imagine a deodorant that keeps a man feeling as clean and fresh as this, all through the day. Well, this is it. Introducing New Band for Men. Clean and fresh because it goes on clear. And New Band for Men sets up a clear shield of protection against odor. Actually fights odor for a full 24 hours. Feel this clean. Feel this fresh. Try New Clear Band for Men deodorant.
Over the years, I've been pretty tough on cars, but hey, man, I wasn't paid to be Jim. Nowadays, I got a little bit different attitude. I own these babies. You know, the better we take care of our equipment, the longer it lasts. And we always use STP products and have for the last 25 or 30 years. The maintenance, preventive maintenance, is what it's all about. The problem is, some crazy kid always wants to drive them.
This Daytona 500 race summary is sponsored by STP, The Edge.
Race summary after 260 miles have been completed. 12 lead changes. Now note the record for lead changes in this race, 15 back in 1974, and with Hut Strickland moving into the leader category in this race, 12 different leaders, that record could be broken today. The other thing is the average speed at 172 is getting up toward that 177 mark that Baker set in 1980. You saw the attrition there. The Bill Elliott car still has not officially retired. It's behind the wall being worked on at this moment. And at this moment on the track, Derek Cope, former winner of the 500 in that Cinderella story back in 1990, for the moment, has the advantage for the great Cale Yarborough.
Of course, he's off sequence as far as pit stops are concerned. He'll be able to go another 7 or 8 laps. Looks like Alan Kowicki's car has slowed dramatically on the backstretch. Don't know if he's going to be able to continue on. He had lost a cylinder earlier, and look at him, the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, going very slowly. Could have run out of gas, but we'll see what the situation will be.
There's Harry Gant being shown in second spot at the present time with that number 33.
Of course, he too is off sequence on his pit stops.
Davey Allison looks like he's coming in. That would be an unscheduled stop.
Definitely. He made a pit stop not too long ago, and having to come back in.
Here's Mike.
You're right, fellas. Davey thinks that the right front tire may be going down. At first, they thought it might be just a difference in the air pressures from the set of tires they had on previously. But the spotter stationed high atop the grandstand called in and said it looked like the right front was soft. So rather than take a big gamble, they decided to bring him in here. This will hurt his chance of winning, but greatly increase his chance of finishing the 500.
Those STP race cams giving us these pictures as Davey Allison comes back on the track.
And the leaders are coming around, Ken. He's going to go a lap down. And, boy, that is tough to make up here at Daytona.
Then we saw him take off. We saw that fuel flying out the back of the car as he took off. You talk about frustrating. He's running as hard as he can go, and they're driving right on by. Hear him shifting gears just as much as he can wind it up, but he did go a lap down.
Here come the leaders. Past him. Cope still leading, Gant in second, but these are the guys, when that gets sugared off and they make their pit stops, that will be battling for the lead. Make no mistake about that. O'Dine will be in at 2, and Rusty Wallace.
Actually, they're not too far behind. These cars we're seeing on the screen right now are not too far behind Harry Gant, and Gant still has a pit stop to make. He's going to be lucky after he makes his pit stop to be in the lead lap.
Second time he's been up in front today, and we'll get a gander at that interval right now. Give you folks at home an opportunity to see by how much, Mr. September, Harry Gant is leading here in the 500. There's Lake Lloyd looking pretty calm out there this afternoon.
And 14 seconds down the backstretch. That's
about where he was before, wasn't it, Ned?
Yeah. Of course, Derek Cope, the man leading this race, Gant is running in second place. Cope has yet to make a pit stop as well.
We're going to have this out of sync all day long until we have the first caution and to get it sorted back out. But we've got like 2 different races going on in between these caution flags. Excuse me, in between the pit stops.
26 lead changes now among 12 drivers in the 500. Kyle Petty back there in 7th spot beneath Morgan Shepherd. Here's David Hobbs.
I'm down here with Cale Yarborough, our first camera winner in the 1979 CBS coverage of this race. Cale, your man Derek Cope's doing a heck of a job, but he's a bit out of sync on his pit stops. Is that a worry to you?
Well, yes, it is, David. We got had a little bit of push in the car and came in and tried to fix it. Now we're a little bit loose, so we just got a little bit out of sequence there. But the car's running good. If we can have a little bit of luck, I think it'll do all right.
So do you need another yellow flag? Because I see that Bob Johnson, your crew chief's got his wrench ready to put some weight in the car, right?
Right. We're going to adjust the weight. We're coming in the next lap.
Next lap. Okay, well, Cale Yarborough, it's great to see you back here at Daytona with a car on the lead lap.
Well, we hope we're going to stay in the lead lap, but, you know, we just got a little bit off there. But the car's running good if we just get it to handling a little bit better for him.
Thanks very much. Back to you, Ken.
4-time winner of the 500, and who will forget back in '83 and '84 when he gave us those great pictures in winning this race. Won it with Junior Johnson, great champion, but he's never won as a car owner.
They're coming in. When Cale says the car is pushing, it means he turns the steering wheel and the car will not turn. The front end continues to go straight. They compensated for that. They went too far. He said it's loose. That means you turn the wheel in the rear and almost flies out from under the car. So they're going to have to hit a happy medium between the 2 problems they had.
Changing all 4 tires. One of the crew members talking to him. There he goes. Or did they just change the left side tires? Yeah. 17.3 seconds.
Here's Chris Economaki with a very unhappy driver. Disappointed driver, probably better put. Chris?
Oh, Bill Elliott, it's sad to see you sitting here. We know you had an engine problem. Was this something that is a continuation of what happened in the Clash?
No, by no means. The Clash was just an oil overfilling problem. You know, today we were just kind of running along there trying to bide our time. When a Budweiser car, you know, was running awful well, and, you know, all of a sudden, the car felt like it slowed down up off turn 4, and I looked up and it was running like 245 water temperature, and that was it for us.
How do you see the race, Bill, the way it's going here? You got any eye on somebody that might win it?
Well, you know, there's several cars in that bunch running well, and I was just trying to bide my time there. It seemed like my car worked awful well, and it, you know, it was, I don't know if I could ever lead the race, but I could have been right in there with a hunt of them. But, you know, there's several good cars left there, and it'll be interesting to see.
Thank you for coming by. Better luck next time.
Thank you, sir.
That's the story on Bill Elliott, who's had only 2 DNFs, 2 did not finishes in 15 Daytona 500s. Continue to watch Kyle Petty working it out here, running right with Earnhardt. And as you watch Kyle, note that he's just behind that Gant number 33.
And Kyle has just taken the lead of passing Harry Gant. Of course, Gant yet to make a pit stop, but he's had one coming up here very, very shortly.
Earnhardt in 3rd. Bodine is in 4th. Daytona 500. Looks like it's going to be the typical Daytona 500, a barn burner to the finish.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
You've seen it before. The ones who run with the herd, and the one who always seems to run alone. You don't see him often enough, though.
Quality motor oil can go a long way toward protecting against engine wear. But by adding STP oil treatment, it can go even further, because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
What are you doing?
Pouring on A1.
Before? Think it'll taste different after? Because before you did it after.
Try it. Before you eat it all.
Oh, after you.
A1, it's how steak is done. Making it to the pros takes a certain level of excellence. The experience to get the job done right and a reputation for quality.
398! 398!
Having what you need on hand, putting the parts together for the best possible performance. Being in the pros takes a special brand of confidence, and for professionally trained technicians, that confidence is CarQuest. CarQuest. Welcome to the pros.
Clash of Titans. 4th-ranked Michigan collides with Bobby Knight and the #1 team in the nation, Indiana, today on CBS Sports.
119 of 200 laps complete. Kyle Petty maintains the lead over Dale Earnhardt. And as you look at the standings, Bodine 3rd, Wallace 4th, Shepard 5th. Further back, Martin, Urban, Brett Bodine, Hut Strickland, Bobby Hillen. But back here, where you see some real movement, Ted Musgrave, Harry Gant, Dale Jarrett, Jimmy Spencer, and Ken Schrader. Now, Dale Jarrett's just picked up another spot or 2. He is run down this lead draft all by himself.
Kenny was about 12 seconds behind this big pack of cars, and he reeled them in without any help. And once he got to this group, he's been picking them off in a hurry, so the car's got a lot of strength.
Now, this Musgrave in the 55 car is running in 9th place.
Here's David Hobbs.
Harrigan's pulled in the pit for his regular pit stop. They put some more weight in the right rear. The fuel man follows him down the pit. Harry leaving a lot of smoke there. Smells like good old tire smoke as he goes back into the race, but something's wrong with the car. We'll try and find out what. Back to you, Ken.
Watching this battle further back in the field as Gant, who had been leading, made a pit stop. And you see the number 18 Jarrett flying through this field. Meanwhile, the leaders.
And Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt have hooked up and pulled away. And Neil, this is the biggest lead we've seen anyone have today. Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt, what, a second and a half or two ahead of the third place car, Jeff Bodine.
Ned, it looked like they got caught back in traffic. They ran up on that lead pack, and they had so much momentum, they just drove by them and actually broke the draft. So looks like Kyle Petty is really pulling these two away from everybody else.
Well, there you see the two leaders and the pole sitter, Kyle Petty in front. Earnhardt right there. Here's Bodine looking up at the leader, or leaders. You can see the black car on the outside, the green car just barely on the inside. As he goes into 3, they're midway through 3, coming out of 4. Bodine currently 3rd. Roof camera from Bodine's machine. Interval 2nd to 3rd stays about 2 seconds.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Ken, that little bit of distance we seen there seems like it's just miles and miles away from you. You're trying to reel him in, you're talking to that race car, but there's just nothing you can do but hold it on the floor.
Davey Allison on pit road, defending Daytona champion. Trouble here.
Having major problems here today, Ken. This is another unscheduled pit stop for Davey.
Just prior to this, I noticed him coming off. Look at the fuel coming out the overflow as he takes off. But I noticed off turn 4, he almost got into the wall, so that car is not working at all like Davey would like to have it.
A lap down as he came in, and he's about to go a second lap down as the leaders are coming after him in turn 1. Here's Mike.
That was Davey's third stop in about 20 laps. When he came in to replace those right side tires, they were not very well matched up with the lefts that were on the car. He said the car started to dart around real badly, and as you explained, he almost caught a piece of the wall. So they came in and put left side tires on it. It's been a long day for the defending champion of this race.
Leaders run him down. 2 laps back goes Davey Allison as Kyle Petty continues to mount this charge toward carrying on a family tradition in the great American race. Grandfather won it in '59. His dad won it 7 times. And Kyle driving the race of his life, staying just in front of Earnhardt here. Then you see the big interval. Back to Jeff Bodine in 3rd, and Brett Bodine has come up to 4th. Ernie Irvan in 5th.
We're sitting there watching Kyle Petty lead this race. Felix Sabates put up a bonus of $1 million if Kyle could win this race, and that could possibly happen as well as he's running.
Here are the Bodine brothers, almost side by side. Jeff pulls in front of Brett. Ernie Irvan dives down to the inside. Ricky Rudd's number 5 just in front of them. Making them 3 wide in the back straightaway.
Of course, Ricky, many laps down, he had some problems earlier during a pit stop.
And take a look right behind. Here comes Jarrett. Jarrett has been, he and this number 26, the quickest cars out here over the past several laps. Meanwhile, up in front, Kyle Petty and Earnhardt there. But look at Dale Jarrett in the 18, finding Brett Bodine, and Ernie Irvan just in front of him, the number 4 car, that yellow car, Irvan, then the green car, Brett Bodine, then Joe Gibbs colors, Cordell.
We're looking out the back of Ernie Irvan's car. They're from the rear bumper of his car to Brett Bodine, passing Davey Allison. Allison moves down, gives them plenty of racing room.
Dave's really having a hard time. Just get that thing up to speed, isn't he?
Those STP race cams giving us some incredible pictures out here as you watch Bodine and Jarrett running in 5th and 6th, closing ground. And now look at Jarrett pull to the high side. This at about, what, 189 miles an hour. Now he ducks back in again as they come down hard against the wall. And Kyle Petty is pitting. Number 42 comes in.
Hey, this should not be a pit stop. Is this an unscheduled pit stop, Mike?
Again, on their last stop, they got only 1 can of gas. You see the dry brake coupler on the front of the fuel can allows them to fuel these cars like they do jet planes without a great deal of spillage. And on the second gas can, it malfunctioned. So Alan Kulwicki's team came running down with gas man and can to make sure Kyle got a full load of fuel this time. An unscheduled stop. They take the opportunity to change right side tires in less time than they can fuel it, but he's away at 12.3.
Ford team helps a Pontiac team get back in this thing. Some heat in that car, trying to get him back out there. But now Earnhardt is running by himself. If they single file behind, they're going to run him down.
Oh, yeah, they'll run him down in a hurry. Dale Jarrett and Ernie Irvin is hooked up in a draft back there. They're going into second place around Jeff Bodine. See them there. Ernie already buying the yellow car. There's Jarrett in the green and black car trying to get around Jeff Bodine. If they continue to be hooked up, they'll run Earnhardt down quickly.
So Earnhardt has no dancing partner, no one to draft with out there. And Ernie Irvin in second spot. Brett Bodine in that red number 15 and the green top car of Dale Jarrett are closing in here. This happening at lap 127 of 200. We'll be back with more live exclusive coverage of the Daytona 500 on CBS Sports after this message and a word from your local station.
This is hydroplaning in less than an inch of water, and they're not being pulled by a boat, but by Goodyear AquaTread radials. AquaTread's deep groove design channels water away to keep more tire in contact with the road for outstanding wet traction. This is hydroplaning. This is AquaTreading, the all-season AquaTread only from Goodyear. It comes with a 60,000-mile tread life warranty. Goodyear AquaTread. Try a set. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Maybe it's the water or something in the air that gives people here that thing we call common sense. You can see it in their faces and the things they do, like going to 76 for their gasoline. It's the same quality the winners at NASCAR depend on. And people figure if it can satisfy the demands of racing, think what it can do for their cars. And that makes sense, which around here comes as no surprise. 76, go with the spirit.
Introducing Ford Taurus SHO and the craving. If you've had a craving for a truly sophisticated performance sedan, may we suggest our 24-valve, 220 horsepower Taurus SHO, now available with automatic transmission. Think of it as caviar for the power-hungry.
This is CBS.
Uh-oh. Looks like we could be stuck here for a while.
I'll be right back.
When you need a battery, there's no better place than Advance Auto Parts. The prices are great. Installation is free, and we'll even recycle your old battery. And of course, there's our legendary friendly service.
Okay, folks, all set. Guess this was your lucky day.
This is Chris Field of Eyewitness News. Last week, ground is finally broken for the new Washington County Jail. We were there. A Hawkins County man drowns trying to save a life. The search begins for his body. We were there. An amphibious lake plane wrecks while taxiing at the Tri-City Airport. The pilot is injured. We were there. The Jonesboro Stockyard fires ruled arson. We were there. The topless bar controversy heats up in Johnson City. We were there. A tragic highway accident claims 4 lives. We were there. Eyewitness News, your 24-hour news source. We're there for you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
We're back with you on Under Caution for the 3rd time today. Talk about your midway thrills. The ride just taken by Sterling Marlin was something. Out of turn number 4. This car number 8 breaking loose. Take a look here.
Looked like Wally Dallenbach got into the wall. Saw 71 Cup cars lifted. Boy, there goes up in the air. There's Sterling up in the air. Looked like they might have lifted because of that accident in front of him, and he got it backwards. Indeed. There.
Got it in the grass and kept it coming around. From another angle, take a look. Whoa.
And that's that rear spoiler that Neil was showing us at the first of the race. When it got absolutely backwards at that speed, it just lifted the back end off the ground.
Talk about a flying machine. That's a 3,500-pound flying machine.
A couple of years ago, without those side windows and all the things that's been done, these side skirts, that car would probably went on up and over. But NASCAR has really been working to get these cars, when they have a problem, to keep them on the ground.
Look at it again in normal speed to the guy who finished second here in 91 to Ernie Irvin. Sterling Marlin. And take a listen to this.
Look at Joe Ruttman.
Yeah, coming into the pits, he said, what in the world is going on?
Yeah, before that area, we just saw him slide down on that pavement. That used to be grass, and when that grass was there, the air would get on the cars, turn over. NASCAR paved that area, and it really helped set that car back down.
Saw some very nasty accidents up there before. Lucky Sterling Marlin. Leaders all coming in. Let's take a look at the leaderboard as you watch feeding time for the elephants here on pit road. Earnhardt, Irvin, Jarrett, Bodine, Hillen were the leaders at lap 129. Mike Joy has more on pit road.
Earnhardt's crew at work. They call them the Flying Aces, and you're about to see why. David Smith on jack. Chocolate Myers tosses that empty gas can. Bobby Moody will lend. New crew chief Andy Petrie. Tire changing there. Left side's off. Car is all the way up in the air. Tires were off before it was. Hammer home those lug nuts. Down he goes. He's gone.
So are the Bodine brothers.
You know, we just saw earlier, Ken, Ricky Rudd's transmission or rear end brake taking off. Everybody says, well, why do they do that? Why do they spin the wheels? These cars have got such big, tall, high ratio gears, you just got to rev the motor up and just drop the clutch like a drag car, or you just can't get it rolling.
Mike Joy.
They're trying to find the misfiring problem on Alan Kulwicki's car. Earl Parker of Champion has brought them a tool to measure the electric flow through those wires and see if the plugs are all firing properly so they can find which one to change, or at least which cylinder has the problem.
If we got an opportunity to take another look at that Sterling Marlin incident, I think that Michael Waltrip was the one involved. I thought for a moment it might have been a Bill Parsons number 41, but it looked like Mike was in there with Dallenbach on that incident up in turn number 4. And we also noticed just a moment ago the Ernie Irvin crew was out here. They see, I know they were waving, give their guys some confidence, or if they were concerned about something as he came back on the track. The Ernie Irvin car. Here you see Davey Allison coming back out again as well. Let's take a look at this replay another time here.
Well, we can see Joe Ruttman headed to the pits, and there is the Dallenbach car about to get, he did get into the wall, and I guess Sterling Marlin must have let off, and Michael Waltrip hit him in the rear, and that sent him in the spin and up in the air.
You're right, Ed. Ruttman had to say, what in the world? This guy's going by on the left backwards.
Now, this is a break for Kyle Petty. He had just made that green flag pit stop, but he stayed in the lead lap. So now he's back on the same sequence as everyone else as far as his pit stops are concerned. Only thing is, he's back in the pack, but that car's awfully fast. I think he can come back up through there.
Here's David Hobbs.
Richard Petty, your son there had a bit of a lucky break with that accident. What do you think about his day so far?
Well, he had a bad break because he shouldn't have been in that position. They had a little problem in the pit, had to make an extra pit stop. So, you know, everything's looking good so far.
And your car, Rick Wilson, you had to stop then, all 4 tires are changed. You didn't change the car at all, did you?
Well, what happened to begin with, the car got loose, but the main thing, we made a bad pit stop the first time. That got him behind. He's been running as fast as leaders. He's just been about 12 or 14 seconds behind, but hopefully we got him hooked up now. We'll find out right quick.
You did this race for 32 years. This is the first time you haven't done it. I mean, how are you feeling about it? Do you feel a bit sad?
Well, no, I tell you, as aggravating as these cars are and the way they got them with the restrictor plates, I'm glad I'm watching and not out there.
Okay, thanks very much, Richard, and back to Ken.
Richard's car is running 23rd. There are 28 cars in the lead lap. And right now, let's try to talk to the man in 4th place. Jeff Bodine, Ken Squire, do you read us here, sir?
Hi there, Ken. How you doing?
How are you doing is the question.
Well, I'm doing fine. How about everybody watching out there and across America, around the world? Isn't this a fun race?
Are you having fun?
I'm having a ball out here.
How does this compare to that bobsledding you're involved in?
Well, you know, and a bobsled's not scarier, I think. Of course, I've been in some pretty scary spots here today, so maybe it's about equal, but we're proud of the bobsled. The fellas are over there in Europe now testing and getting ready for the Olympics next year.
It's a wonderful thing that you're doing there, but let's talk for a moment about what you're doing here. That car has looked very stout. Do you think you have enough to carry it up front, Jeff?
Well, we're up front. The problem is getting by these GM cars. As you have been watching, as soon as I get in front of them, they just seem to blow right by me. Don't really have enough get up and go to stay out in front, but, you know, we'll ride here, do the best we can, hopefully be in a good position at the end to make a move.
Jeff, did you realize you're running side by side with your brother there?
Yeah, I wanted him to get behind me to help me push me up, but, hey, we're racing out here, and you know, we're trying to work with all the Ford cars and let those GM guys work together. That's worked pretty good sometimes, but every once in a while we don't get the right cooperation we want.
Well, thanks for taking us hitchhikers along. Let's go over to Mike Joy for just a moment.
Well, Ken, 1 year ago, Jeff walked along the starting grid of this race with me after watching Olympic bobsledding on CBS. And he told me, says, I want to go drive one of those things.
Had looked on television.
We made it!
But Bodine felt he could help the U.S. team. He commissioned Chassis Dynamics in Oxford, Connecticut, who've built race cars for all three Bodine brothers, to analyze current sleds and build a new U.S. prototype. Where Bob Cuneo and Bob V found many sleds to be similar, they copied existing designs. Where they found the sleds to differ, they innovated. And as in auto racing, they rented World Cup bobsled sites the day after a race there to test under actual competition conditions. I asked Jeff what moved him to become so deeply involved in somebody else's sport.
The last time an American won a gold medal in the bobsledding was 1936 with an American-made bobsled. And that's the last time they had an American-made bobsled. So that's our goal, to build these bobsleds, provide them to the drivers, to the teams, and then go win some medals.
Jeff has already put $135,000 of his own money into this project. They are looking for corporate sponsorship. And you'll see this in much greater detail if you tune into CBS Winterfest coverage next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
It's a great story. They really have helped that team along. They've come up with some new sleds. They get a tenth of a second. They're going to get themselves some medals. We're going to get green this time by and be racing once again here in the 500. And Jeff Bodine in car number 15 will be in fourth. Deployed in front, Earnhardt first, Dale Jarrett in second, Ernie Irvin in third. Now Kyle Petty will be back in 12th position on this restart. Here you see Kowicki's car. Let's take a look at 1 through 15 for a moment here. Earnhardt, Jarrett, Irvin, Bodine, and Schrader. And in the second 10, you have Rusty Wallace. That car number 2 Pontiac beginning to roll up through. Rick Mass, Jeff Gordon, Brett Bodine, and Bobby Hillen. Mark Martin, Kyle Petty, Shepard, Hamilton, Musgrave. We can look a little further back here too, Ned.
Yeah, we still have 27 cars in the lead lap. All of these cars drivers we're looking at here are still in the lead lap.
Contenders.
Spencer's up there in 21st place. Michael Waltrip in 25th place. He's had a little bit of a problem, but still in the lead lap. And there, Wally Dallenbach Jr. is in 27th place. He's the last car in the lead lap. Phil Parsons is 1 lap down in 28th position. See how far back Davey Allison is, boy.
Getting set on a restart here. Hensley, Marcus, those cars out of the race. Dick Trickle coming down for green.
This will be the first chance we see. Dale Earnhardt's been leading the race. Dale Jarrett has been making up ground all day long. He's right on Earnhardt's bumper. We see if he's got anything for him now.
I expect him to be content for a few laps here, Neil, just to try to pull him away from the rest of the field and try to build up a little bit of a lead that Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt had going there before Kyle had to make that unscheduled pit stop. You got 3 Chevrolets there right now. Ernie Irvin is tagged on to them as well.
Most impressive car in the last 25 laps was Jarrett in the 18. Earnhardt staying up there, but Jarrett wound that field in and rolled through. Irvin right there in the number 4, giving us these pictures of Dale Jarrett in second place as they come to full song in the Daytona 500.
Still going fast on that 4th turn.
No speed limit at Daytona today as Earnhardt stays out in front. Jarrett's in second. Ernie Irvin in third and Bodine in fourth.
You know, they offered me the job to run that camera coming up turn 4. You think they were telling me something?
Yeah.
Whoever's hanging onto that thing better run.
It's got to feel good, though, to be in the midst of that and know you're among the very best, Neil.
I'll tell you what, these guys here have worked so hard this winter. Every one of these top teams, they've been working themselves to death to get these cars going, and now they're getting to see what they've got. And I'm telling you, the thing's going to shake out. We've got the most lead changes coming up we've had ever at this place. It's going to be quite an ending for this.
A lot of brother acts out here today. The Bodine brothers, the Waltrip brothers, the Wallace brothers, the Labonte brothers.
A lot of guys came into this sport, and the young kid that used to work on the race car came along a little later. They've progressed up through the ranks, run the short tracks, paid their dues, found their way into this 500. Rick Wilson with the STP race cam. And that car number 42 continues to wind its way back into this field, currently being shown in 17th position. Right in front of him, Derek Cope. There's Harry Gant down to the bottom in the 33.
Boy, we see Gant on the inside. He's had problems all day long. They just can't get the car running like he needs to, and they're just going right on by him.
But strategy has let him lead this race on a couple of different occasions, but he has not been up to speed. It's just gas mileage and making an early pit stop during a caution that put him in that position.
The deal we had earlier, the out of sync, is out the window now. We had this caution, and it pretty well got everybody where they'll be pitting together again now.
Back straight away. 139 of 2 complete of 200. And there you see Earnhardt first. Dale Jarrett right there in second spot. What a turnaround for him a year ago. They lost, what, 3 cars here. Let David Hobbs has this report for us.
Well, I'm with Buddy Parrott, Rusty Wallace's crew chief, and you've come up from 34th position. You're now in 6th, right with that lead draft. How's it going?
Well, it's really good right now. Rusty just came in, put 4 of those Goodyear Eagles on that race car, and he said the car's handling great. We've had a car all day that was a little loose to start with, but as the fuel burns off, the car can freeze up and gets real good, as you know, everybody's been watching. I just want to say one thing for the guys back in the fab shop. Y'all did a great job on these cars.
Thanks very much, Buddy, and back to you, Ken.
Buddy Parrott, you can tell when he talks about those good years, he was an old tire buster for years. That's how he got started. Buddy Parrott won Daytona 1990 with Derek Cope.
Trouble on the back
straightaway. Going into turn 3, Rick Wilson's car has been collected in this crash. There's Hamilton's car. Rick Wilson dropping down to the inside. The number 44 car running in 17th gets hammered. He's okay.
Trying to get the motor recranked. He's over trying to hit the starter. Trying his best to get that thing cranked up where he can get it back around and see if they can get it finish the race.
At lap 141.
He was running in 17th position. Still in the lead lap and certainly still in contention. Too bad.
Richard Petty on the radio talking to driver Rick Wilson. Richard knows all about that. He's been there before himself a lot in the last 2 or 3 years and in this race.
Well, you can see he has it headed back towards the pits now. A lot of damage done to the right front. Certainly killed the aerodynamics on the car. I don't believe it would measure up to those templates now that Gary Nelson has, who's the competition director in Weston Cup Racing.
Robbie Loomis is now his crew chief. He worked with Rick way back, early days in Florida on the short tracks. Looks to me like they're going right to the garage area. 3rd straight Daytona 500 crash for Rick Wilson.
The STP Pontiac with heavy damage to the right front. Rick Wilson having
1992, he had a crunch up in turn 4. Trouble back in 91. And now today, up here in turn 3. It comes to an end early for Rick Wilson of Bartow, Florida, now carrying the Petty colors.
He's got the front end knocked out so bad, the wheels are turned in opposite directions that he actually can't get the car to turn well enough to get it in the garage where they can try to fix it. There goes Richard. He's going to get in and oversee the work, see if they can get the car back out.
First time he has ever been in this position.
Chasing the car and run into the garage without a set of wheels under him. Looks like they're going to try their best to get him back out here.
You know, while Richard and these guys are in the garage, Jeff Budine is on pit road with the hood up. Only one of the leaders got the hood up. It looks like they're working. Maybe he's running a little bit warm. They're working on cleaning that grill area off. Put a little water in. See the radiator, the water hose over the deal. They stuck a little bit of water in. He must be running hot.
86 champion of the 500. Let's take another look at what happened up here in turn 3, folks. They're working on that car 44. There you see Richard all around it. And here's what created this disaster for the Petty team.
Well, you can see Rick Wilson was down on the inside at the very top of the screen. There were 3 abreast going into that turn, and it looks like he He just clipped someone going into the turn. Bobby Hamilton was up on the outside. That's the bright pink car you see, or they're calling it pink. It looks almost orange, but they stayed together up on the high side of the racetrack for a pretty good little bit.
Thank goodness
This is
it did
the
stay
aftermath.
up there. Yeah, it's a
This
good
is the
thing it
aftermath.
stayed up there, Ken, because if it came, look at the traffic coming by. Good thing they stayed up there long enough for that traffic to clear. Then the track will actually sweep it clean. They'll come off that banking. Rick gets it right up against the wall, and then he cuts it down after everyone clears them.
From Wilson's car, we're going to see what happened.
Well, here we are running down the backstretch in single file, or at least it appears that way. Rick up next to the wall, and well, that's when he gets into the wall. He had gotten single file then, but going into the turn, he was actually 3 abreast. He was down on the inside.
Long time before he finds Hamilton there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing.
Hamilton's right up into him by now. I thought there was a second hit. You saw it drive that car forward again. Not true. It just stayed there.
There's Hamilton pulling out from on the high side of the track. Ernie Irvin coming into the pits right now as we watch this situation of the 44 car of Rick Wilson. There's Irvin. He had moved up to second place around Dale Jarrett just as the caution was coming out.
Here's Mike Joy.
We're seeing some interesting strategy played out here. This looks like a normal caution flag pit stop, but it was carefully timed. There are 58 laps left in this race. Ernie Irvin, Tony Glover, engine builder Runt Pittman and their crew feel they can go the distance from here. Barely. So they brought Irvin in now. The rest of the leaders are staying on the track. They will likely pit when the indication is 1 lap to go to be sure of having enough gas to go to the checkered flag in this race. But Irvin, by having pitted right at this time, will end up after the caution flag with better track position and a full tank to go the distance.
And track position is going to tell the story. Let's listen again to what happened out here to this number 44 when he got in trouble in the back straightaway. You could really hear the impact of that second hit from Bobby Hamilton, and it seemed to take forever before he found him.
And he was glad that most of the cars had gotten by. He stayed up on the high side of the track next to the wall long enough for the traffic to get by before he came down across the track. He didn't have much control of the car coming back down across the track, and he was just glad nobody was there to hit him.
So for Rick Wilson, it's a hard day's work here at Daytona. We'll be back to decide who's going to win it in a moment.
You know, when it comes to protecting against friction, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to keeping engines clean, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to protecting against viscosity breakdown, nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
What's so daring about Prism car polish? It's not how you put it on, but how you take it off.
Prism Car Polish, the first and only spray-away approach to car polishing. Just wipe it on and spray it off. And in half the time, you get a durable shine. No huffing, no puffing, no buffing. Prism, the spray-away car polish.
Cost you to race in this business.
The winningest battery at NASCAR isn't a special racing battery.
I have well over 600 NASCAR starts with a die-hard battery.
It's exactly the same battery you can buy for your car at Sears.
You'd have to be crazy to come out here without a die-hard.
Sears Die-Hard, the official battery of NASCAR.
I have never had a failure on the starting line yet. You can count on me.
Die-Hard. More power when you need it most.
You know, when it comes to protecting against friction, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to keeping engines clean, nothing beats Quaker State. When it comes to protecting against viscosity breakdown, nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
The numbers are heartbreaking. Almost 2 million American teenagers use illicit drugs. More than 250,000 of them use cocaine or crack at least once a week. To appreciate the magnitude of these numbers, all you have to do is look at one. Remember, it's not a game, it's your life. Don't let it end in sudden death.
Overhead today is the Goodyear blimp, making its silver anniversary appearance at the Daytona 500. We're just taking green and getting back underway with some 145 laps complete here at Daytona in the 35th running of the 500. And as they sort them out, Earnhardt stays first, Jarrett's in second, and the big story, Rusty Wallace for the moment in third spot. He's had a very consistent run up through the field in that black car number 2, the Penske car, running in third spot. A little further back, Rick Mast is in fourth, started 31st today. Number 1, Rick Mast having a good run with Jeff Gordon, the rookie, back up in fifth spot that we saw lead the first lap.
There were several cars that made pit stops, late pit stops. Ken Schrader, who was running in third place, made a pit stop. Of course, we documented that Ernie Irvan did, and he's going to try to go all the way. Several drivers trying to go all the way.
That's a long way to go at 146 laps.
It really is. I didn't think they had that kind of range.
Maybe Harry
cars
can.
You know, then we know they stretch it when they can go 125. Boy, they're really doing some speculating. They think they can go this far.
Mike Joy.
I just talked to Runt Pittman, former engine builder of the year. He puts the power to Ernie Irvan. I said, Runt, 145 miles, that's 6.6 miles per gallon. Are you sure? He says, this thing gets better mileage than my wife's car.
And we'll not tell what brand of car that is, will we?
Better not. Here you see Earnhardt out in front. There you see Dale Jarrett right with him. The car down to the bottom of the racetrack that they're lapping is the Hamilton car, which was involved with Rick Wilson in that incident in turn 3 that brought out the caution.
Now, Kyle Petty was another of those drivers that made a late pit stop, topped off the fuel tank. Average expecting to go the rest of the way.
Average speed at 162 miles an hour. The record 177, Buddy Baker in 1980. What a race we have here, with 25 cars still in the lead lap. There you see Earnhardt first. Looking a little further back, there's that number 1, Rick Mast in fourth. Gordon right behind him. And then look at the rest of this field. Here's David Hobbs.
This is the tire off the car of Bobby Hamilton. He got squeezed up against the wall there by Rick Wilson. The bodywork got pushed onto the tire and sliced it like a tin opener all the way around. But the beauty of these Goodyear radials for this stock car racing is that they have this inner liner. And this tire has still got all the pressure in it. Obviously, it doesn't work as well as the thing should do. But boy, oh boy, what a great safety feature they have on these NASCAR tires. But Bobby Hamilton's in the pit shot again to take more bodywork off more front tire. The car's not looking too good at the moment. Hitting it hard with the hammer there, trying to move that bodywork off that left front tire where it got pushed onto it by Rick Wilson by that accident on the back straight.
Down towards show and tell time here in the Daytona 500. It started out with a rookie leading the very first lap. And we've seen Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, and Jarrett being some of the dominating factors, as well as Schrader in this race. 4 caution periods in the race. We've had 29 lead changes among 12 drivers thus far. What's impressed you about this 500 so far, Ned?
The number of cars that we've seen running up front and the number of lead changes that we have had so far here today. It's just, and there's trouble on the back straight.
It's Ernie Irvan's car that's slapped into the wall.
Looks like it's hitting a ton, too, on that right front.
Now you wonder if that strategy, they'll say, I wish we hadn't done. Don't know what caused this, but being back in a pack, you certainly are more subject to get involved in something like this than if you were up front.
Car grinding to a halt, Ernie Irvan's number 4. And the 91 champion as the caution comes out for the 5th time.
And all the rest of them now can make a pit stop and make it the rest of the way from here.
Faces the frustration that comes after you've tagged the wall. As to why, we'll take a look at that in a moment. There you can see some of the debris off car number 4 up against the wall.
Boy, as Ned said, all of that strategy's out the window. He's sitting completely on the bare rim, so that right there will be headed to the garage.
All right, let's take a look again at what happened from Ernie Irvan's vantage point.
Today, but he's certainly been a contender in the Kodak car. He's been right at the front of the pack. Now
Oh, boy, he can't even steer the car. Got hit from the inside. hit by someone, and it just slammed him right into the wall.
Here's another shot. See if we can see what's happening. He's coming along. Looked like the 66 car inside. It's hard to tell what happened. But boy, Ernie went right out in that inside wall and took a real hard lick.
Still another angle.
And you see the black number 66 of Derek Cope coming on by. It looked like they made contact as they came off of turn 2.
From Jeff Bodine's car.
Here's Jeff coming off the banking onto the back straightaway. We see Irvin up there. They swerve together. Irvin right in the wall. Boy, Bodine just barely cleared the accident.
Ernie Irvin.
Looks like he's
not
a little
happy.
bit hot. No, he isn't happy. And pit road is closed right now. Although there's some cars that are coming on pit road, they're making a mistake because pit road is closed because of Irvin's car sitting down there. You see all these cars on pit road? Pit road is actually closed.
Under caution with 50 laps.
Kenny Wallace came in, Davey Allison, Wally Dallenbach. Hamilton's car came on pit road, but none of the leaders. And there you see number 4 where it came to rest. He tried to steer it down onto pit road, and it slapped the wall there too. And Ernie Irvin is hot.
Well, he had a crash in the Daytona 500 last year. He was fighting for the lead with Bill Elliott and Sterling Marlin. Big crash on the 91st lap.
50 laps to go.
And all of those cars I mentioned that have come into the pits, when the pits were closed, they'll have to go to the rear of the line, of the longest line, when they restart this race.
Last year he was out early, credited with 28. And again this year. Not a good day for Ernie Irvin of the Morgan McClure team in their hopes of winning the 500 for a second time.
Seems that some boys just don't know how to play nice.
So you wanna play tough?
Introducing the bold new Ford Ranger.
You say you wanna play mean?
With its new look, Ranger's changing the rules. The stance is wider, and with push-button four-wheel drive and a new body full of curves, guess we're just not playing fair.
Rest and rest. Ford got a new machine.
What's in the bag? Lunch. Big Mac, fries. Play you for it. You and me for my Big Mac? First one to miss watches the winner eat. No dunking. One knee. Which knee? Get in there. Off the floor, off the scoreboard, off the bank board, no rim. Over the second rafter, off the floor, nothing but net. Through the window, off the wall, nothing but net.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Off the expressway, over the river, off the billboard, through the window, off the wall, nothing but net.
What does it take to be a mountain man? Do you need a big horse? Do you need a deep tan? Do you have to have a saddle? Do you have to have the gear? Well, the simple truth is you just gotta have the beer.
Bush beer, an easy drinking Bush Light. Have you got what it takes to be a mountain man?
What does it take to live a mountain man's life? Get smooth Bush beer, is a drinking Bush Light.
Monday, things you thought would never happen will. It's the episode everybody's going to be talking about, so you can't afford to miss it. An all-new Northern Exposure Monday.
The leaders will be able to go the distance. They'll be able to take on the fuel they need to finish this 500. Won't be in question. And let's take a look at those leaders right now. Earnhardt first, Jarrett second, Wallace, Mast, Jeff Gordon.
Of course, Earnhardt and Jarrett, several of those have come into the pits. That's just before they came into the pits. Some more are coming into the pits this time around, but that's the way they were running before they made their pit stops. And with 125 miles to go, 50 laps, actually will be less than that. When we get to green flag racing, they should have no problem in going the rest of the way as far as fuel is concerned. In fact, Earnhardt and Jarrett only took home fuel.
And actually, Jarrett is in front of Earnhardt. He beat him out of the pits, so Jarrett is in front of Earnhardt right now.
And of interest is that Sterling Marlin, as they line up, get set to go again, will start second. Sterling Marlin just 30 laps after sailing off turn 4 in that wild ride. Here is how not to come on pit road.
Well, that's Ernie Irvan trying to get his car back to the pits, not knowing exactly how much damage is done, but he knew when he got to the pits and he couldn't steer the car away from the inside wall. He knew that it was over then for the
Probably
day.
no brakes. Bad control arms, all beaten up. Bad day for Ernie Irvan. Here's Mike Joy.
Jimmy Makar's one of the happiest guys on pit road right this minute. They were going to stop with an Ernie Irvan and might have been in that wreck, but engine builder Rick Wetzel said would be a couple laps shy on fuel. So you just came in, got fuel only, and beat Dale Earnhardt out of the pits. Quite a job.
Yeah, the guys did a real good job. I tell you, we were a little rusty right off the get-go here on pit stops, but we worked real hard. The guys got pumped up, and I think they're seeing our chances get real close to win the Daytona 500, and that's what everybody works real hard over the winter for. So we're sort of in the position we want to be in right now. We're up front. We're full of fuel. We can make it all the way. Like you said, we're really feeling bad a few laps ago because we're a lap or two shy of being able to come in with Ernie and make it the rest of the way. But good Lord must have been smiling on us not to have been able to do that.
Plus, you look pretty happy to see Kyle Petty and some of those other cars getting tires when you just got fuel.
Yeah, that's true. I'm hoping we made the right choice. The car's working real good right now. And, you take a chance with new tires of having a set of tires doesn't work quite as good. So we're hoping we're in good shape right now.
Well, we're about to find out.
Well, we have one anxious parent up here sitting to our left. We've got another anxious parent watching as well. You know that lady?
Oh, yeah, I've seen her a time or two, Martha. Now, I'll tell you about her. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day, Martha. Haven't had a chance to say that to you. But the way she likes to sit in the pits to watch him race, she wants me to pull that van right up so she can see one spot on the racetrack only. She don't want to watch the race from all around. She could have gone in the CBS suite today, but no, she chose not to do that. She wants to see him come by just each lap and listen to it.
That's what Linda Petty used to do.
Yeah.
Sit in the infield, listen on the radio, and be close by, kind of near the infield care center, near the garage area. Did she do that when you were racing?
No, she scored quite a bit back then.
Well, here's her son having a whale of a run in this 35th annual Daytona 500. Welcome aboard if you're just joining us here on CBS. Ned Jarrett, Neil Bonded alongside. I'm Ken Squire. Chris Akartamaki here, David Hobbs, Mike Joy. Delighted to bring you this great race. Here's David.
Well, down here in the pits, of course, the big talk is Jeff Gordon. Led the first lap of his first Daytona 500, a 21-year-old rookie. Then he started to fade from the picture a bit, and unfortunately, the reason was he ran into a tire on pit lane and bent that vital front air dam on his car. Well, they straightened it out. He's got back in the thick of things, and when the green flag drops, hopefully for the last time here today, he's going to be right in that lead car draft. Back to you, Ken, and let's watch that kid come through.
As they come down to the start, Derek Cope, number 66, will be up in front. Sterling Marlin second. Todd Strickland's there in third. Brett Bodine fourth. Unser fifth. Michael Waltrip sixth. Dale is in seventh. That's Dale Jarrett. Dale, as in Earnhardt, is eighth. Rusty Wallace ninth. Morgan Shepherd 10th. Blake Speed 11th. Musgrave is 12th. Wally Dallenbach 13th. And Rick Mast is back to 14th with Gordon now in 15th.
Now, there were a number of drivers that didn't pit. They had pitted on that last caution. They could go the rest of the way, so that put Earnhardt and Jarrett back a little farther back in the pack.
16th is Brett Bodine. Terry Labonte is running 17th. Kyle is in 18th. Kyle Petty. Mark Martin 19th. Schrader 20th. Darrell Waltrip 21st. Spencer 22nd.
Now look how boxed up these cars, where the lap car for Harry Gant running down on the inside of Derek Cope. He's able to stay with him, and it's got everybody boxed up behind back there. They just don't have anywhere to go.
Boy, this is when they really got to be careful. We got a lot of the fast cars in the middle of this traffic. They got to weed their way through, but they got to get there as quick as possible.
Jeff Bodine has just jumped into 22nd. Jimmy Spencer dropped back to 23rd. Bobby Labonte in 24th. And there are 24 cars in that lead group as we get down to decide the 500. 154 of 200 laps complete.
Boy, this is just what these car owners don't like to see these drivers doing, and some of these dads don't like to see this.
You're right.
Big traffic jam right here. It's going to take a while to get it thinned out. There's Earnhardt. Jarrett's already moved to the inside. Earnhardt's trying to get in there with him, see if they can work together.
But boy, those cars still running side by side up in front of them. There's just nowhere to go.
Just in front of them is Ricky Rudd, some 23 laps down. He had trouble early.
Looks like the 42 car and the 25 are laying back some. You see them just back behind this pack of cars. Looks like they're waiting for it to sort out.
Kyle Petty and Schrader in the back of this. They may be playing their cards a little closer here, not wanting to get too involved as these cars have run quite a distance today. Now dropping to the inside.
Ricky Rudd just dropped out of the way. He's many laps down. He said, I'm not going to mess up anybody that has any shot at winning this race.
Ooh, Real Earnhardt on the outside around Unser. Unser in the middle in the white car.
Brave move. They're still 3 abreast as they come out through here. Brett Bodine, that's Bobby Hillin down the inside. There is trouble.
Hillin and Unser get together, sliding through the grass in the infield. Unser's car back on the track. He gets it back down again.
Kyle Petty is going to stop it.
And Kyle Petty gets collected.
Kyle tried his best to get stopped. He kept watching that car come back up in front of him and thinking that it would stop, and he just ran right into it.
Ned, I'm not so sure they wasn't laying back, but what do? He did everything he possibly could and just nowhere to go.
The pole sitter, Kyle Petty, finds that Bobby Hillin car after it spun. He had whoaled that thing every way he could, ran out of room. The incident started in turn 4. It has ended all the way down through the tri-oval. Kyle clambering out.
Boy, I hate to see. Here's cars coming back at pretty good speed. And we got these drivers out on the track with some liquid out here.
Well, Derek Cope was trying to keep Harry Gant a lap down. And,
well,
$1 million was a possibility.
He could have won this race.
Bobby Hillin trying to explain, I think.
I don't think Kyle likes what went on there. But he said, hey, it's over with now. There's nothing we can do about it. Let's don't even talk about it right now. Let's cool off.
You're exactly right. These guys are out there running as hard as they can run. What they don't need to do is even get together. It's hard to control your
tempers. Trying to keep them apart.
And that's surprising that Bobby Hillin, he's a real mild-mannered individual, but he's very upset too. So I don't know what, apparently he feels that the things went against him. Certainly it went against him because his car's down there crashed, but maybe that he had some help in getting crashed.
What you've got to keep in the back of your mind, no matter what happened on this racetrack, both of these guys had a position to win today, were in position to possibly win the Daytona 500. It doesn't matter whose fault, whatever, or nobody's fault, still you're going to be upset. The best thing to do is calm down. I'm saying it, and I used to be the world's worst. So.
I think he's trying to get away. I don't think he wants to talk to anybody and find out what really happened here. And Bobby Hillin, a victim of this crash that happened long before Kyle Petty came on the scene. We'll try to find out what was said between those two. Take a look at what happened here. This is where it all began.
Okay, the light green car of Hillin's down on the inside, and there's Al Unser Jr. went up and clipped Dale Earnhardt and then back down into Hillin, and there they crashed together, slide across the grassed area, and then Hillin goes back up onto the racetrack. As he comes off the grass, we'll see him.
Unser goes up first.
Well, Unser does go up first, and then here's Hillin going up. Unser gets back down on the grass, and here comes Kyle. He's trying to slow down, doesn't know which way to go. He's got the brakes locked. The car wouldn't cut, and slammed right into him.
And he had a man on the inside of him. He didn't have any place to go, but there was nothing that Hillin could do, not thing one.
Well, here we come again, Neil.
Coming off the fourth turn there, we see Unser move up. They clip. Unser comes back, gets Hillin with him when he goes. Boy, 30 car just barely missed him. You see Hillin's got the hood up over the windshield. He can't see where he's going. Unser comes out. He's actually driving the car. He's got a little bit of drivability. He comes across.
Mike Joy. Mike Joy.
Al Unser walking along back to the garage here. First of all, you're okay?
Yeah, we're okay.
You look like you're in a good shot to win the 500 when that happened. What went on there?
Well, Dale did me on the outside going into three, and then he got caught up in the gray, and I was able to get back by him coming off of 4, and then I Coming off of turn 4, he got my right rear corner panel, turned me sideways, and then that was that. I was bouncing in between cars then.
I'm glad you're okay. Will you be back?
Oh, yeah, we had a good time, and, you know, we were just doing real well for Valvoline and Hendricks Motorsports, and we had a shot at it there at the end, but, you know, there's just too many people coming off of 4, and they just started banging each other.
IndyCar racing is close racing. How's it compare to this?
You know, they run a lot closer here because the wheels are covered and gives the guys a lot of confidence, but...
maybe too much sometimes?
A little bit too much, yep.
Thanks, Al.
Can't wait to see that guy back here another time.
Here it is again. There's Bobby Hillen in the green-colored car, or aqua-colored car, down on the inside. But Unser and Earnhardt get together. That's what caused the whole thing. I don't quite understand why the verbiage between Kyle and Bobby Hillen, because, you know, they didn't really have that much to do with it. They were victims of circumstances.
I think it's just frustration, more so than being mad at one or the other. Kyle might have said something then that kind of got Hillen's attention, but I think it was just sheer frustration.
Here's Mike.
Fellas, the cars were sliding toward us on pit road as they came to a halt. Kyle Petty had his car locked down, and he was very nearly stopped of the accident. As Hillen's car slid through the grass, it was clear he was still driving it. He was fighting for control, got it turned around, and thought he was going straight when it spun back up, came up the racetrack. And I think instead of locking the car down, bringing it to a stop, he tried to swing it around again, and it came up right up into Kyle Petty's safety lane at that point. It's an accident that, if either driver had done anything differently, would have been avoided.
Well, there you see Kyle back in the Sabetta's hauler, and I think that's Ernie Irvin in there with him. Here's Bobby Hillen with some of his crew. We are at... Trying to check our laps here.
160 laps have been complete. 40 to go. 100 miles to go in this race, and Ken, we're down from not long ago. We had 28 cars in the lead lap. Now we have 21.
I hope people see this, don't say, "Oh, well, these drivers." But let me tell you, if you do this for a living and you don't get excited when something happens, you don't need to be driving one of these things.
Bobby Hillen is making his way toward Chris Economaki right now. We'll try to give you more on this story. There you see the end of the Donlevy car after it had had a great run here today. 4th straight year that the pole sitter has failed to finish the Daytona 500. As it bites Kyle Petty today. Meanwhile, Rick Wilson is back out here, looking a little sore and sullen, but 44 still rolling. Here's Chris Economaki.
Oh, we're here, Bobby Hillen. You look like you're upset. What's the reason?
Well, I'm very upset. I'm trying to keep my composure. It's so hard in times like this, you know. We had a very strong car. I don't know what happened. They just all got sideways and came across in front of me, and you know, everybody got on it, and then I lost my brakes going through the grass. I had no idea where I was sliding, and Kyle jumped all over me thinking I let off the brakes, but that's just the way it is. We're all upset right now. We'll all get over it. I'm just thankful that we've got a great company like Holly Myers. They're supporting us 100%. This is their first time in racing, and we thought we had a good shot at it.
Bobby, we got up on the screen. I know it's very hard to see here with the sun shining on the screen. Maybe you can see exactly what happened. What were the words exchanged between you and Kyle?
Well, I just told him I had my foot on the brakes once I was sliding through the grass. There was nothing I could do, and we're just both upset right now. It's understandable. It's just hard to keep your composure when you think you have a chance to win the biggest race of the year. I just thought it was so close.
But, Bobby, you know why it happened?
Say that again?
Why did it happen, the accident?
Well, there's only a few laps to go, and we're all racing for the win, and there's guys up there that haven't been up there that long and racing with these kind of cars, and, you know, everybody's fighting hard. It's just one of those things.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Let's go to David Hobbs now.
Well, I just had a word with Kyle Petty. I ducked pretty much, and he just said, don't even bother to wait. There must be a crowd of 200 reporters out here. He said, don't even bother to wait, because he said, I'm not going to say anything, because if I say it, I'm going to regret it like hell tomorrow morning, so you might as well just all go away, because I'm not saying anything right now. And you can understand why. Pole position and really looking strong today. What a shame.
$1 million, too, going down the window.
Big bonus for Kyle Petty from Felix Sabetis if he'd been able to pull it off. Not to be. All right, getting set for green next time by the Mrs. Gossage down there, the PR lady.
He come out and talk right now. He was still quite upset that he, in essence, was afraid he might say something that he would regret tomorrow. So his best way is just to not say anything at all. Okay? sorry.
I agree with her.
I can't answer that one until he calms down.
So that's the story. There's no story as far as Kyle is concerned at this time. Come back tomorrow. And I think you're right, Ned. You're out there running 190 miles an hour. You got your life in your hands, and then something like this happens. Fortunately, everybody walked away. That's the best news of all.
Well, that is good news. Still a tremendous race to go here, Neil.
What's unique about this sport, in most major league sports, when there's something like that happens, the drivers or the participants aren't accessible. And to be able to get on those guys that quick and want them to answer questions, thing to sit down, cool off, and not say the wrong thing. I hate to see it happen. Both of them had a shot at winning this race, but it's just a part of the racing.
That PR person, Jane Gossage, has been around racing for a long time, and I'm sure she was in there saying you're best to stay in here at the present time. All right, we're getting set to go back under green. Running order after 161. Cope in front. Wouldn't that be something if he won his second 500? I mean, you talk about a dark horse in this race. They came down here with no sponsor. Most people felt they'd have problems even qualifying. They put it together. They got themselves in the race, and they're leading as they come to the line with Sterling Marlin in second, Strickland third, Dale Jarrett in fourth, Brett Bodine in fifth, Rusty Wallace sixth, Earnhardt back in seventh, Michael Waltrip eighth, Morgan Shepherd ninth, Musgrave 10th, Wally Dolan back 11th, Jeff Gordon 12th, Mark Martin 13th on the start.
And one thing that caused that wreck to happen back there, we kept talking about those cars up front running side by side as they're doing it right now. Those cars kept getting bumped, boxed up back there, nowhere to go. Everybody kept jockeying around for position. That's what caused the wreck. Here we are again, side by side.
Ned, we got the same set of circumstances. Hopefully these guys can work their way to the front that's got a shot to win this thing and just see what happens. I do think we'll see a little more caution coming up through there than we did before. Maybe they can weed their way through it.
Down on the inside, you see the lap car of Harry Gant, number 33. He is running 22nd, running one lap down from those leaders stacked up on the outside. All the lead cars are on that outside lane as they resume racing. So far, everybody's finding their manners.
Okay, Derek Cope has broken away from Gant. Gant backed off a little bit going into the turn. That's what they needed, was to get out in single file. That's what the lead cars needed. So Derek Cope now out in front all by himself there.
165 laps complete. Strickland the third for the Junior Johnson team, and there you see that number 8 that took that wild ride 4.5 feet off the ground. Here comes Earnhardt to the inside on Rusty Wallace in the 2. No room, Gant still there. Sliding out of that fourth turn area. Dicey racing.
Dale Jarrett moving up on the outside, or trying to, of Sterling Marlin. That's not Sterling Marlin, that's Hutch Strickland. Hey, they're going 3 abreast into that turn.
But Strickland made the move, Ned. He cleared him getting down in the corner.
And he made a good move, got himself a pretty decent lead there. He had a good run on that turn.
Here you see Strickland going for the lead.
Look at Michael Waltrip.
Michael Waltrip bombing up through down the back straightaway. Taking
and Earnhardt right in the middle of going 3 abreast in the middle.
Who says you can't run in the middle, Ned?
Right here's where we had a problem off the corner. They cleared him that time. Waltrip jumps in behind Earnhardt.
It looks like the outside is the place to be right now.
Marlin down to the bottom. Here's Earnhardt back in third. Michael Waltrip. Desperate situation for him. They had a very bad year last year. Lost a lot of cars. Lost a car yesterday in the 300. He feels he has to win, has to finish well today.
There's Earnhardt by himself on the inside. See if he can work that outside line. That big line on the outside should be able to hold him off.
Those top 3, with the exception of Earnhardt, in different cars from a year ago.
Now Michael Waltrip he started to come down there and help Earnhardt. Here comes Rusty Wallace up on the outside of Michael.
And look at Earnhardt. Just take it down to the inside, hold it there, and press for the lead. Strickland on the outside, Earnhardt on the inside.
Looks like the line, looks like the start of the race again. Here we go. There's Waltrip taking a look inside Earnhardt.
They decided that's not the smart thing to do.
Long shadows down here on the west end of the Speedway as you watch live the 35th running of the Daytona 500. Let's take a lap from the Goodyear blimp as the Daytona shuffle continues for $2.5 million.
There's Earnhardt and Waltrip inside trying to move up on them.
Jarrett went 3 wide in there around the Sterling Marlin car, moved by Rusty Wallace.
Up to 5th. Jarrett, that green car. For the moment, Hut Strickland in front. The Ford of Strickland leading the Chevrolet in second. Incredible picture from the blimp as to how this field is deployed and how they shuffle at this 190-mile-per-hour speed. All of these cars fighting to win the 500.
Look at Jarrett in the green car. He jumped down the inside. It's putting him up in the 3rd place. A while ago, we saw Jarrett and Earnhardt were capable of pull away a little bit. They're trying.
Trouble behind Rusty Wallace is turning over.
Rusty Wallace, 20 feet in the air, spinning, crashing.
Well, I'll tell you, when you're running that close together and jockeying around position, you just know that things like this are going to happen. And a very unfortunate situation for Rusty Wallace.
Racing
here.
back to the line.
Back to the flag as Dale Jarrett moves around the Hut Strickland car.
At the strike.
You know, you almost feel like you're just sitting there waiting for it to happen with that big pack of cars. Unfortunately, we've seen it a couple of times. Hopefully, Rusty's okay here.
Pontiac number 2, totally destroyed, at least 10 times over.
Is he moving in there?
I believe he is, Neil. That looks like some movement by Rusty in there. Let's hope to the Lord it is.
Yeah, he's taking his helmet off, it looks like.
89 Winston Cup champion, Rusty Wallace.
Had a great run going here today.
Safety crews on it and in it just as soon as the field moved by.
Yeah, that car had hardly stopped rolling until one safety member was right there.
Crew chief has called in and has said that Rusty Wallace says, I'm okay.
Oh, that's great news.
Thank goodness. I tell you, it attests to these cars. We say it over and over again. But when something, we see what happened with Davey in this. Here we go. Let's see what happened on this thing. There's Jarrett. He gets in line. The 66 car right behind Waltrip. Looked like they tapped. They touched right there, the 66. And then Rusty, he gets clipped right there, turns sideways, and we know what happened after that. The air gets out of the car. Yeah, it looked like the 66 and the 30. Look at Rusty's car, how high in the air. Real violent flips right here. Boy.
Well, similar to Darrell Waltrip here in the 400-miler in July a couple of years ago. There it is again.
Another angle. Looks like Derek Cope was involved.
Yeah, he clipped the 30 car of Michael Waltrip. They got together.
And as you watch that, it reminds me a bit of the late Connie Saylor, who passed away just a week ago. Remember when he sailed down the backstretch, Ned? What a great racer he was, and died of cancer this past week. But he had an incident similar, except he went the whole backstretch upside down. Connie greatly missed here.
Let's see, there's the 30 car. It's hard to tell. They were so close together. Anyway, the 30 and the 66 go over, tag Rusty. Watch the car. The minute the air gets under, inverted wing up in the air.
You know, I think from the blimp we may get it. I think that is where you're going to see it. Look at this Wallace car, just disintegrating. As it settled, he said, I'm okay.
And the roll cage held up in that car.
Yeah, he got tagged. You can see it from the blimp. The 66 coming across on the 30. It catches the number 2. Frightening crash.
Yeah, and they said the minute the car stopped, Rusty hollered, I'm okay. So he knew he needed to call those guys.
He's walked to the ambulance.
We're in Jeff Bodine's car now as he goes through there. He said, I got by that one, accepting that a big piece of debris off of Wallace's car hit him right in the top of the windshield.
Looked like the front windshield out of Rusty's car went right over Bodine. Turns them to junk in a hurry, doesn't it?
And again, remarkably, they walk away.
From a rocket ship.
There he was, walking to the ambulance. The 1989 Winston Cup champion, Rusty Wallace, walks away from the remains of that car. Unbelievable. Back in a moment.
Mark and my relationship goes way past business. I'm sure in a previous life he and I were twin brothers. Throughout the race, the driver and crew chief communicate. The driver complains about the car or brags about the car. It's the crew chief's job on pit stops to make whatever fixes he can to help the driver's predicament. Everyone has about the same access to equipment and technology, but the people who rub on it the most and think the most of it and think about it the most will end up winning the race.
We know we see all the men you have to be, just how much you give, all the lives you live, we'll be there. We understand all it means to be a man. We're showing you the way to get better every day. Gillette's the best a man can get.
Gillette sensor technology revolutionized shaving. Now we're introducing the Gillette series, a line of high-performance shaving, aftershave, and deodorant products with an exhilarating new fragrance to help every man look, feel, and be his best.
So you're the best you can be for all the world to see. Gillette, the best a man can get.
The Gillette series, together with Gillette Sensor, is redefining men's grooming.
You start it every morning. Start after start after start. When most of your oil is still down in the pad, you start metal-to-metal contact. You start engine wear. Now help stop it with the latest breakthrough from STP. Engine treatment. It bonds right to engine parts. Independent tests proved it. Just add a quart at your next oil change and help stop engine wear before you start with STP engine treatment.
This Daytona 500 race summary is sponsored by STP, The Edge.
The race summary after 425 miles showed 13 different leaders. Remember, the record is 15, and there have been 35 lead changes. We're getting up toward, well, it's still some distance there. The 60 is the record. Average speed down to 153, and cautions have now amounted to 29 laps, 7 occasions they've thrown the yellow. Here are the cars officially out of the race. Dick Trickle lost an engine early. Jimmy Hensley and the Jimmy Means car crashed. Elliott's car retired. Ruttman with an engine. Then we had Ernie Irvin losing his car. Bobby Hillen's car out with Unser in that crash, and Petty getting collected in it. And now, just a moment ago, Rusty Wallace in this horrendous crash in the back straightaway that we think has also taken Derek Hope. We're waiting for more word on that the 66 may not come around. We understand that is back in the garage area. But there are the remains of car number 2, brand new Pontiac car for this race. Rusty had a similar crash back in the early 80s in a 125-mile qualifying race, but I don't think it was quite as violent as that. It was a pretty good flip, but
it was
not like that.
Yes, it was a very violent crash.
Let's take another look at Jeff Bodine's pictures and think about the speed. This is at normal speed here. It's just how fast as that car in front of him, the Wallace car, disintegrates for the Wallace windshield to come back and slam into that 13. Watch this. I think that was a quarter of a second. I mean,
it was less than a half a second for that, from the time that piece came off of Rusty's car to get to Jeff Bodine.
Well, as we get back, 172 complete, and you'll have Earnhardt in first, Dale Jarrett in second, Hut Strickland in third, Sterling Marlin fourth. Jeff Gordon will be in fifth. Here comes the pace car in. 6 is Shepard. Here is Mike Joy.
Of the cars on the lead lap, Mike Waltrip was in the wreck. He made a pit stop, came back out, and Brett Bodine got a piece of debris that ruined the nose of his car. He pitted, got 4 tires, and has returned.
19 cars remain in the lead lap. Running 6 is Shepard. In 5th is Gordon. A little further back, the 7th spot is Jeff Bodine. 8th is Musgrave. 9th is Dallenbach. 10th is Schrader. 11th is Martin. 12th is Lake Speed. 13th, Terry Labonte. 14th, Spencer. Then Bobby Labonte, 15th. Rick Mast. The Waltrips out in the back of this field, and they're rolling.
The two Dales are going to try to hook up together here, Ken, and try to pull away from the rest of the field. They have a lap car of Phil Parsons in between them. They pulled away from Hut Strickland on the start of the race. Now here comes Strickland down on the inside. He's not going to have anything to do with that. He said, I'm going to draft right back up there to you. And he does. Boy, he got back quickly.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I thought when they made that break that Strickland kind of got left back there, but it didn't take one straightaway for him to reel him back in.
Chevrolet, first and second. Here comes Hut Strickland in third, and here comes Gordon rolling back up in there another time with his Chevrolet.
Gordon being shown in the 5th position. In great position. Right there just drafting along.
Right behind that Sterling Marlin car. Strickland Marlin. Running 3 and 4.
There's Morgan Shepherd right in behind him. They're running good. The Wood Brothers car today.
Now remember, this Sterling Marlin car, fellas, we saw it up in the air a while back. The back end up in the air, and here he is now up there in 4th position.
Spun off turn 4. It's a wonder he didn't damage it. He did that again.
25 laps to go.
Go inside Jeff Bodine's car. Ride with him. And we'll simulate now. You're riding with him live, the actual feeling of the 31-degree banking.
Now they roll the camera up flat and let the car on the angle. Real good indication of what kind of banking these guys are dealing with.
31 degrees.
Jeff Gordon just went up on the outside, made it 3 abreast and moved into 4th place. He went around the Sterling Marlin car.
And that allowed the 3 and the 18 just a little time to get a better purchase on that lead.
Well, a little bit, but Hut Strickland is hanging right there with him. And look at Gordon coming on. He has a strong car now. He's running in 4th place in that multi-colored car. Morgan Shepherd now has moved into the number 5 position.
It's amazing the depth in NASCAR racing to have all the crashes and all the problems we've had, and still at this close to the end of 500 miles have this many cars still in contention to win.
Further back, look at this skirmish. And remember, there are 18 cars in the lead lap.
And Jarrett going for the lead.
Takes the lead going down in turn 3. There goes Hut Strickland with him. Jarrett cleared him really good, getting down in the corner. Comes Earnhardt and Gordon hooked up together, back under Hut Strickland.
Down out of Calamity Corner come the leaders, and you have Dale Jarrett now in command of the 500.
Boy, Jarrett's car has been so strong, working up through that traffic all along. Now he's in front of Earnhardt. We'll have to see what kind of laps they crank out, see who's pulling the cars around the quickest.
Well, evidently he felt that he could pull it a little bit faster than Earnhardt was running. They'd like to get away from those cars behind them and settle it between themselves. Now Jeff Gordon has moved up into the 3rd position. He has a strong car as well.
178 complete. First time Jarrett has led since lap 6. We'll be back to see how he fares in a moment.
What does a high-speed turn at Daytona have to do with a left turn on Elm Street? At Ford, we race more to learn more about things like safety, because there's nothing like hugging a wall at 200 miles an hour to learn how to improve crosswind stability, or racing in a crowd to learn about safer, more responsive handling. And what we learn in this rush hour traffic, you can use in yours. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Man, we're out here to test. Nothing but rain. Hey, where's Mario?
2 champions sharing a winning formula. Haviland Formula 3.
I hear your power is looking good for you this year. It's unbelievable. It's run pretty hot in the tight draft zone. Got that pretty well beat.
Complete professionals who rely on the same complete protection you can buy right off the shelf.
I'm wide open all the time. The only way to do it.
Haviland Formula 3 motor oil from Texaco.
Quit raining, please.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
Some people get nasal congestion, but if you get sinus congestion, use a sinus spray like Sinex. Only Sinex has a decongestant plus Vicks Vapors, so you can feel your swollen passages open up. For sinus, think Sinex.
You're on the set. When the lights come up and the camera starts to roll, there's no place to hide. And even one flake of dandruff, even one, can ruin it all. That's why I use Head & Shoulders. You know, it's even better than it was just a couple of years ago. Today's Head & Shoulders gets to 10 times more of the places dandruff starts. Put it to the test. Prove it to yourself. Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders 2-in-1. Because great hair can't have flakes.
Relive the great American race in this CBS Sports home video. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. To order by credit card, call now 1-800-999-VIDEO. Daytona, drama, danger, dedication. Only $19.98 plus $3 shipping and handling. From the lead, Dale Jarrett sinks back into 4th position. Morgan Shepherd, the 2nd-place finisher just a year ago, takes over in 3rd. The rookie, Jeff Gordon, goes to 2nd. Earnhardt remains in front. Earnhardt trying to win the 500 for the first time in his career. 19 wins at Daytona, but never in this race. Crashed out of it, run out of fuel, been tagged on the final lap. Leading for the moment, and the 21-year-old from Pittsburgh, Indiana, reels him in the back straightaway. Less than 20 laps to decide it all. Here's David Hobbs.
I'm with Leonard Wood, one of the famed Wood brothers, who can't remember how many Winston Cup races he's won. Could today be another one? Are you going to steal Dale Earnhardt's win again?
Well, I mean, we would love to win it, but we're just trying to survive the crashes right now. It looks like the driver's a little over-anxious this year.
I think he will be over-anxious today. My joy.
The coach of the football Redskins, Joe Gibbs, is here in the pit of Dale Jarrett. He owns this race team. Coach, in the Super Bowl, you have input and control. Here you've got some input, but not much control over what's going on out there. What's your feeling right now?
It's a little different for me here. I'm not hands-on at all. I'm just cheering with everybody else here in the interstate pit.
Another fan, but one with a big vested interest.
You know, a while ago, when he was leading the race, Ned, he went down the corner. It looked like the car took off high on him, and they got around him. But it looked like he's trying to cope with that and try to do his best he can. It looks like he can get around him on the outside.
Well, he's running pretty steamy up there, but he can't pick up quite enough momentum to move up beside of Morgan Shepherd. That's what he's trying to do. In the 125-mile qualifying races, his car did work better on the high side of the racetrack, and apparently that's the way that it's going right now, but he just can't get the momentum to move around.
Calm and collected. Martha Jarrett looks on as her son maintains a top position, going for 3rd once again on the outside.
Got it this time.
That's where he worked good all day the other day. Jarrett was able to go high, take the line away from him, and when they come off the corner, he's in position of draft up.
Kyle Petty has been out trying to make some laps and pull the car back on pit road, and Derek Cope has returned to the race. Right side of that car badly bashed in. Well, here we are. 184 laps complete of 200. It's Earnhardt in front, trying for the 15th time to win the 500. 15 was a lucky number for David Pearson. 15 was a lucky number for Bobby Allison. That's when they won the 500 in their 15th tries. What about Earnhardt today? And what about this rookie in only his first try? Gordon, number 24, is back again for Hendrick Racing. Here he comes.
You know, Chevrolet's out front.
You know, Ned, they said earlier that Gordon hit something on pit road and messed up the spoiler on that car, the front air dam. They must have fixed it. It won't affect it so much in a draft here, but the question will be, can he lead if he jumps out there?
Jeff Gordon has said, I was racing sprint cars, and those are mean race cars. I was racing sprint cars before I had a driver's license. You learn well in those open cockpit cars, and right now he's running 2nd. We'll be back for the finale of our live exclusive coverage of the Daytona 500 on CBS Sports after this message and a word from your local station.
Because STP increases even the best oil's viscosity by up to 50%. It's that simple.
Start a project with Minwax Wood Finish and turn new into treasured, ordinary into extraordinary, even pine into cherry. Because Minwax Wood Finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Beginning tonight. Danny Glover, Ann Margaret, Martin Sheen, Paul Winfield, Ossie Davis, Jasmine Guy, Tim Daly, and Halle Berry as Queen in the last chapter of Alex Haley's dramatic chronicle of an American family. Discover the roots of a new generation. Alex Haley's Queen.
Tuesday, a highway disaster traps a little girl and her father beneath 20 tons of sand.
I'm thinking, you're kidding. How can anyone be alive in this?
A battle for life on Rescue 911.
This is CBS.
You know, working at AutoZone is more than looking up parts or ringing up sales. Most of all, it's listening. Because my customers know more about their cars than I'll ever know. They know every rattle by heart. I mean, that car is their baby. So when they've got a problem they're going to fix for themselves, I'm going to do my best to help them get whatever they need, no matter what it takes. Because people like that, they don't deserve anything less than the best I can give them.
News you need to know.
Keep in touch with late-breaking news weeknights at 11 p.m. Chris Field anchors the new 11 o'clock news desk and keeps you updated on the top news stories. She teams up with meteorologist Mark Reynolds and sports analyst Kenny Hawkins.
News you need to know.
For news coverage that happens around the clock, hear about it nightly with the experienced news team on Eyewitness News at 11 on WJHL TV 11.
News you need to know.
Bruce Lehman with First Call on Eyewitness News.
The Daytona 500 is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Goodyear, #1 in tires. Quaker State, the Big Q is one tough motor oil. And by Smooth Busch Beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR.
11 to go. And if it stays green, we'll stay with it right through to the finish for you. In this, one of the most exciting Daytona 500s in history. At this moment, Dale Earnhardt is leading. Right behind him is the rookie, Jeff Gordon. And then you see in third, Dale Jarrett. And the 86 champion, Jeff Bodine, has pulled himself right back into this race in fourth. Hut Strickland is in fifth. Running 6 is Sterling Marlin. 7th is Shepard. 8th is Mark Martin. 9th is Schrader. 10th is Wally Dallenbach. 11th is Mast. 12th, Labonte. 13th, Lake Speed. 14th, Jimmy Spencer. But it's right here on the nose.
Jeff Bodine and Dale Jarrett ran side by side for about 2 laps, Ken, and that allowed Dale Earnhardt and Jeff Gordon to pull away a little bit. Now Jarrett has broken away from Jeff Bodine and is about to catch the front 2 back again.
Final 10-lap countdown coming up. Pittsboro, Indiana's Jeff Gordon looks over Earnhardt inside and outside. Ray Evernham, his crew chief, has great faith. I guess everyone's going to have great faith in this kid after what we've seen today out of this 745-pounder. Out of that was the leader. 10 to go on 3 occasions, and it didn't happen. Not big in physical stature, this kid in second, but becoming a giant here at Daytona this afternoon. And Jarrett lies there in third. Do you think that car has more? Do you think that car has more, that 18 car?
Well, I think he's driving his heart out. I think he's giving it all that it has right now, Ken, if he just gets himself in the right position. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Well, look what's on TV here at the Hendrick house. Rick, what'd your wife give you for Valentine's Day here?
We got 4 TVs, and we put them in each pit, and I couldn't run up and down this pit road all day, so I get to watch a little TV while they're racing.
That's because he's got 4 cars in the race. If 21-year-old Jeff Gordon, in only his 2nd Winston Cup start, can win racing's biggest prize, is everybody else here going to start to feel real old?
Well, you know, when I met Jeff and looked at him, and he was about the age of my daughter, it really kind of dawned on me how young he really is. But he's done a heck of a job. If we finish second to Earnhardt, I'm still awful proud of him. You know, he's done a heck of a job today. The whole crew has.
Let's see how it goes.
Thank you.
Hendrick won the 89 500, the Waltrip, and 86 Hendrick won with Bodine. Earnhardt for Richard Childress. The lap countdown continues. There you see Jarrett throwing that car down onto that first turn area, the west end of the speedway.
Earnhardt has led 100 laps of this race, Ken. That's half of it.
I was wondering earlier, Jarrett's car, we couldn't see him keep it low. That time he stayed lower than the other guys. I don't know that he's not playing around, trying it high, trying it low. He's ran them down from way back several times. He might have a little bit more than they've got.
Well, he's going to try that high groove once again. He wants that to work. He tried it up there for a while, and it just wouldn't work. Now he's trying it again.
Ned, how many times did you try to win this 500?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I didn't race in the first one in 59, but I did 60 through 66, so that would have been, what, 6 years, I guess. Third was the best I did.
Third was the best.
Yeah, finished fifth in 65.
And this was always a ticklish track for you. Well, you had 50 wins, but this was always a ticklish situation running down here.
Yeah, I guess you could say that super speedway racing was not really my forte. That has been somewhat of a surprise with Dale, that he does so well on the super speedways when I didn't.
Every time we see a group of cars, I keep saying, well, 2 or 3 of them are going to break away. They'll string it out, all of a sudden, here comes a pack coming back. And they'll break away, and here comes a pack. This entire group of cars here can possibly close it up. We've got like 6 laps to go, and these guys can still, any of these top 5 or 6 have got a really legitimate shot at it.
You can see on the front of Jeff Bodine's car, he has some damage on his car there, which is hurting it aerodynamically. I tell you, he's doing a great job of staying up there with those front runners, with that car not driving as well as it would have a little bit earlier.
There you see the top 4. Back to Bodine. Right behind him, Hutch Strickland in 5th. A little further back, Schrader is in 6th, maybe 3 car lengths. There's Schrader. Following him is Morgan Shepherd. He is in 7th. Second place finisher a year back. Then Mark Martin. Up to 8th is Mark. Right behind him, Sterling Marlin. 5 to go this time by. Well, do you think your old hunting compadre is going to finally win this race?
Let me tell you what, I was legitimately saying 6 guys got a chance to win this race a while ago. We've got 5 laps to go. Anything can happen. Once somebody makes that break, it's going to scramble, and I'm not so sure it'll happen on the last lap. I'm not so sure somebody might go something out of the ordinary trying to do it before the white flag.
They all want to win the big one, and they'll do whatever they think they have to do to win it.
The last lap around was right at 190 miles an hour, so they're not playing. They're cranking them up, and this is on old tires.
Jarrett goes to the outside, begins to look on the high side.
Those cars are pretty equal right now, it looks like.
4 laps to go.
They're trying to pull away a little bit now from Jeff Bodine to get him out of the picture on that last lap if they possibly can, Neil. I think that's one reason that Dale Jarrett is following right on the back bumper of the others, is to try to take him out of the picture. And I'm going to tell you what Dale Jarrett's going to be thinking. If they get Jeff Bodine out of the picture, what he would like to do as they come around to get the white flag is to help Jeff Gordon draft up even with Earnhardt, and then try to get a run off of him going down the backstretch on the last.
Make it 3 wide.
Yeah,
taking a shot.
That's what he would like to do, but you know, there's sometimes circumstances just don't let that happen.
I'll tell you what, it's a pretty good game of high-speed chess, and that's what it amounts to: positioning, placing yourself, and then pull the trigger at 190 miles an hour.
Now Earnhardt's car looked a little unstable that time out of 4, Neil, when he came off that. And you notice on the 15 car that car is showing a little aerodynamic rumble on Bodine's car just behind up on the right side.
He does have a problem on the right front of that car, so that's why I say it's amazing that he's been able to stay up there with them, with that car not aerodynamically perfect. And you know, he's not out of it. He's still right there.
From this platform, you're riding, watching those top 3 cars. There you see them down the back straightaway into 3.
There's Jarrett. He's looking at that high line again. He wants to get a good run off of this corner. The other 2 cars are nose to tail. Gordon took a look to the inside then.
He's going to try looking again. Here comes Jarrett dipping to the outside as Gordon went to the inside.
So he's going to clear him, getting down in the corner.
Into 1, Jarrett on the move.
Come on, Martha. He's going to be okay, dear.
Ned, she's quit looking now.
Yeah.
Down for the finish. A couple to go. Again, Earnhardt looking unstable coming up the corner. You could see the tail switch, and he just gathers it up like the master he is.
Jarrett wants to push him hard into this turn. He wants to push him hard in there. If his car's getting loose, he wants to loosen it up even more.
The closer he can get the bumper to the back of Dale Earnhardt's car, the looser Dale will get. There he comes. It looks like he's driving up under him. Earnhardt's car got loose and slid up the racetrack.
Dale Jarrett seeking in. They touch. They come back to the line. White flag. White flag and 1 lap to go. Earnhardt coming back on the outside. Bodine gets into it. Strickland gets into it. This is the finish.
Did we say 5 cars had a shot at it? Get ready, because it's coming to the wire. There's Jarrett in front.
Jarrett pulling back in front. Bodine comes down to the inside. Jeff Bodine, the 86 champion, trying to find some room.
Come on, Dale. Go, baby, go. All right, come on. I know he's got it to the floorboard. He can't do any more. Come on, take her to the inside. Don't let him get on the inside of you coming around this turn. Here he comes, Earnhardt. It's the Dale and Dale show. It's become off of turn 4. You know who I'm pulling for. It's Dale Jarrett. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there. He's going to make it. Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500. All right. Oh, look at Martha. Oh, dear. Oh, can you believe it? Way to go. Oh, man. Did you teach him to drive that race car? Oh, man.
Oh. You think she'll get out of the van, or you're going to go get her out, Ned?
Oh, that poor girl, she needs help.
Happy Valentine's Day, Mrs. Jarrett.
How many people get to participate in 2 Super Bowls? There he goes. He's won the Super Bowl of stock car racing, Joe Gibbs.
36-year-old Dale Jarrett.
And Martha was not at his first win. When he won in Michigan in 1991, she wasn't there.
Winning his second Winston Cup race. Winning the biggest race of the year. Winning the Great American Race. Dale Jarrett from Hickory, North Carolina, headed for Victory Lane, where you will meet him in a moment.
Here's one way to make your all-purpose vehicle a true all-terrain vehicle. Here's another, the Goodyear Wrangler GSA with triple traction. It's like getting 3 tires in one. You get an area for quiet highway traction, for wet weather traction, and for rugged off-road traction from Goodyear. Wherever you drive, on the road, off the road, down the highways, wet or dry, get the tire that's like 3 tires in one. Wrangler GSA, only from Goodyear. You'll know why we like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Burt Reynolds talks with the Quaker State team.
Hold on. I got to get my name on the car. My fans are getting restless.
No room.
How about on the big Q?
The big Q stands alone. Stands for quality.
You can't get better protection.
No other oil beats Quaker State.
How about right here?
No way. Red doesn't like to be crowded.
My fans are getting demanding.
All right. We'll go get the painter.
They must have had a hard time finding the painter. Nothing beats Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
What makes a mountain man a mountain man? Let's find out. Must a mountain man be a big burly guy with an axe? A man of steel? Must a mountain man even be a man? Actually, the only requirement is the right beer. Smooth bush beer or easy drinking bush light. So, head for the mountains and learn what makes the typical mountain man anything but.
Why do I choose Alka-Seltzer Plus over the leading cold pill?
They only relieve congestion, but Alka-Seltzer Plus is so tough it relieves sore throats, sneezing, headaches, even body aches.
That's why I choose Alka-Seltzer Plus.
Alka-Seltzer Plus. It's tough medicine.
I feel Danorex tingling on this side, nothing on the head and shoulder side. I love that tingle, so I tried Danorex for my dandruff. It really came through. The flaking stopped, my scalp doesn't itch.
Danorex with conditioners, the serious dandruff shampoo.
I've switched to Danorex.
A year ago, they dazzled the world. Now, take a look back at Albertville's unforgettable Olympic figure skating performances. Olympic Winterfest next Saturday.
Joe Gibbs walking to Victory Lane at Daytona. He's used to hearing "Hail to the Redskins." "Hail to 18" would be appropriate here. Chris Economaki standing by with the Daytona champion, Dale Jarrett.
Okay, here he is getting his red hat on. Come on out, Dale. Here he is. The surprise winner. What a fabulous straight, and look at the celebration. Congratulations, Dale. About that last lap, how long did you plot that?
Well, I was just trying to find out where I could really get a run on those guys, and it seemed like 3 and 4 was a good place for me to really get a run. I found out that I could get around Jeff on the outside there and did that. and Dale just slid up high down there. It looked like his car got a little bit loose getting in the corner, and that let me get on the bottom. I had to run.
We got a headset here for you to talk to your dad. Here you go. Take it away, Ned.
Super job there, Dale. I tell you, I'm really proud of you. You did just exactly what you had to do, like I told you, right?
That's right, exactly like you told me all along, Dad. Thanks for everything. I appreciate it. This is a great day.
Well, I tell you, your mama was watching, and you can't believe the way she broke down when this race was over. Of course, we had to expect that. Proud of you, son.
You came so close back, I believe it was in '63 when you ran out of fuel. I thought we'd get this one for the whole family.
All right, you did great for us.
Thanks.
Dale, you know, your mother was praying for the last 15 laps. It was the longest prayer I ever heard anybody say. Did you have any frights during the day?
I was close to a couple of things, but most times stayed out of trouble. Everything seemed to happen behind me most of the day, and I think everybody did a good job out there. I had such a good car, I could just kind of bide my time. Jimmy Maycar did a great job, and we just want to thank the Lord for a safe race. I know Rusty's okay now, and he's the one that brought this home for us.
That's great. Congratulations again on a great victory, Dale Carr.
Thanks a lot.
And we'll be back with more of the Daytona 500 after these messages.